And oh my God, did you hear?
Was the Anything podcast with... Now, wait a minute. I'm Chris.
You're Japo.
Japo.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Aaron and you're Chris. I got it this time.
Yes.
It's the Anything podcast and we're ready to go.
Here we are.
All right.
What is going on?
It was the 4th of July. How was your 4th of July, first of all?
It was nice. It was hot.
All right.
It was crazy warm. How about you?
Well, the first thing, we got to dive right in, man. Got to dive right in. I had an encounter with a flat earther, a real life flat earther. Can you believe
What
it?
on Green's God Flat Earth are you talking about?
Yep.
Of course the Earth is flat. Come on, we know that.
Everyone knows that.
Jesus. Aren't you going? I thought we were going to take the cruise to the end of the world, or to the ice thingy, and,
It's the ice shelf.
Look over the edge, because NASA's been keeping it a secret for millennia.
Well, that was my question. So I'm like, okay, if the Earth is flat, where are the pictures of the edge of the Earth? Can you show me pictures of the edge of the Earth?
No, because NASA made sure to take care of it.
Yeah, apparently this lady told me it was the government. The
Yeah,
government
NASA.
doesn't allow us to go to the edge of the Earth. It's all conspiracy. So then I said, okay, well, what about before there was a government?
I know, right?
And she's like, no, there's always a government that's stopping you from going to the edge of the Earth.
There was the Illuminati from millennia ago that said, no, you can't go there.
Yep.
You can go all around it, but you can't go
You
there.
can't go to the edge of the Earth. So then I was really
And you
disappointed.
can't go to the North Pole either, because that's smack dab in the center of the flat Earth, and you can't go there because if you go there, there's a hole, and you can go on the underside of it, and that's the inner Earth.
That makes
But
perfect sense.
technically, it's the upside down if you watch Stranger Things.
I do not. You'll have to tell me about that. But see, I was really disappointed because then after I talked to the flat earther lady, who I had to get away from because I couldn't go down the rabbit hole on the 4th of July I would have loved to talk to her more, but there were other things going on. I had to get out of there. So here's the thing. I talked to my friend about the flat earth later on because I've never met a flat earther. And he said, dude, why didn't you ask her how the sun goes up and down? I'm like, oh, damn it.
Instead of rotating.
Yeah. So all these people who think that the earth is flat, who's our buddy? What's his name? Who's your favorite? Eddie Bravo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, hold on. Here's the thing, though. Think of it this way. We live in, like, the 40, latitude.
The parallel? I don't know.
It's like 44
Is it
or
41.2 or something?
Something like that. It's right around there. So we're right there. So, yes, in the summer, guess what? The sun lasts longer because it moves in the sky because it's a sphere. The Earth is round. But it goes around, and then all of a sudden, so the day is longer. But then in the winter, if we were on a flat Earth, how does that change? How does the time change? Then the other thing is, why would the seasons change too? Like, if it was flat Earth, it would be the same temperature all year round, and it would be the same sunrise and sunset all year round.
Well, okay.
But you have that at the equator, because it's at the equator all the time.
All right.
But if you start going north or south from there, then the day extends differently. So it can extend shorter or longer depending on the season, which means, hey, guess what? Now you really are screwed on answering that because it's simple.
So if the earth was flat, though, then how does the sun even go up and down?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. And
that's because that's because of your perception.
Okay.
Because your perception, no matter how you look, it always looks like it goes down. Because, like, if you look down a street, everything looks like it kind of gets closer together, and then all of a sudden it starts going downward.
Yep, towards the event
so you
horizon.
Can't see. But let's move from flat Earth and go to the real news that came out this past week.
All right.
Are you going to Area 51 and storming it?
That was my second thing, but we're going to get to that. But here's the thing. This is how my 4th of July started. I know a young lady. She was very intelligent, college graduate. I have always found her very interesting, very sharp, intelligent, has a great career, being hunted by people. This person who's the flat earther happened to be her mother, who I've never met before. Now, I'm sitting around with all my friends waiting to go to the fireworks, and this woman, who's the mother, the mom, says, they've been keeping it a secret, but there's a miracle cure-all that's going to help everybody, and we all need to tell everybody about it.
CBD oil?
Nope. That's a good point. I'm going to try that too. So then,
You haven't done that yet?
no, I told you.
What the fuck are you waiting for?
Well-
Go get some CBD.
It's illegal.
No, it's not.
The people will come and beat me to death. Don't they bash down your door and be like, "Ugh."
Dude, CBD is sold everywhere.
It is?
It's so saturated, it's not even funny.
Okay. And it gets you super high where I'm going to be
No.
like super fucked up.
You need like 25 jars worth, which
Okay.
would cost you a shit ton of money. And that wouldn't even fuck you up because the THC content is 3% or less.
Okay. Is that guaranteed?
You can't sell anything more than that in New York.
Okay.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
I can't wait until they do 10 and 10.
Yeah.
The
We'll see.
1-to-1 ratio is going to be wonderful.
So she says the miracle cure that she went to Canada to visit a holistic medicine person. And guess what the miracle cure
Straw?
is? Nope. She
Cow
says
fungi.
you should be drinking a teaspoon of turpentine every single day to
this-
keep healthy.
This is like the bleach lady.
It's definitely a bleach person. So it's like, she's like, oh, you can get this turpentine stuff. You got to go to the hardware store to get it. I'm like, yeah, turpentine is
Here.
paint thinner.
Hold
She's
on,
like, no,
hold
it's
on.
not. I'm like, yeah, turpentine is paint thinner. In fact, because I used to be pretty intelligent, I know that turpentine is derived from tar from, I believe it's pine tar, something. But it's paint thinner. So she's like, oh, I was having trouble walking and I was in bed and
Oh my
I
gosh,
had
she
no
actually
energy.
did that.
And the holistic person told me to take a bath in a solution of turpentine and I felt so much better.
Oh, well, hold on.
So turpentine is a legit cure-all that you can get at any hardware store. You should definitely be drinking lots of turpentine every single day. Chris, have you gotten your daily amount of turpentine today?
I hate to break it to you,
It's definitely
but I'm going to
a
prove you
cure-all.
wrong.
Yeah, it's a cure-all.
No, it's turpentine oil
Uh-huh.
is actually made from certain pine trees, and it is
Yeah,
used
pine
as a
sap.
medicine.
Yeah.
Don't confuse turpentine oil with gun turpentine, which is resin.
Okay.
So turpentine oil is applied to the skin for joint pain, muscle pain, nerve pain, and toothaches.
Okay.
So you can actually use it.
No, is that turpentine that you get at the hardware store? You should be drinking turpentine, which is paint thinner that she told me
Well,
to go.
paint thinner's different. It's not the same thing.
Uh-huh.
So let's look it up. Hazards. There's a lot of hazards here.
Are you sure? Because apparently it's supposed to cure everything.
It's a fluid obtained by the distillation of resin from live trees, mainly pines. It's mainly used as a solvent and as a source of materials for organic synthesis.
Uh-huh. Okay, so when I Googled
So it's
turpentine,
flammable.
Yeah.
You don't want to breathe it in.
No, I've spilled it in my eyes before when I was a kid. So when I Google turpentine, the first thing that comes up is clean strip turpentine to be stripping off paint off of your things. Right there. And I know what it is. I've used it when I was a kid to build models. You definitely shouldn't be drinking it.
Yeah, but there's actually like, if you look
I
here,
see it. 100% pure gum spirit turpentine.
yeah, there's different. There's because that's the whole thing. Like, there's certain things that, let's see, what can I get this? Pure gum handcrafted.
So then
This is oh wow. Pure gum spirits. I can get it off of solvent for removing paints and waxes.
yeah, dude, I've spilled it in my eyes
Household
before.
Farm.
All right, so when I was a kid, I used to build a lot of models. It was a lot of fun. And when you get your turpentine bottle, it comes with the little thingy on it that has the sponge at the end, right? You know, the stick with the sponge. So I was taking the stick out of the turpentine bottle, and it flung into my eyes and lit my eyes
Scroll down a
on
little
fire.
bit. Scroll down a little bit.
do you-
Medicine doesn't come from the hardware store. Don't drink turpentine. Science based.
See? So then she's telling me to go to the hardware store, and I should be drinking my turpentine.
You
Like,
know
okay.
what? You know this lick challenge that's going around
No. What is it?
where everybody's licking stuff and putting it back?
Oh, you mean the felony
Like-
challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one person do that. They found her and they're charging her, and she
Oh, she's
faces
getting
20
a
years.
shit ton of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna fuck her up because everybody's starting to do it. But there's a meme going around Facebook right now, and it shows chicken, and they're like, here's the licking contest for you. I'm like, yes, do that.
Is that the salmonella challenge?
Yes, pretty much.
So well, first I had to listen to this woman tell the people that were around me that they should be going to the hardware store and drinking turpentine. And I was on my best behavior. I did not do what I would normally do and be like, listen, assholes, you don't go to the drink turpentine, idiots. Don't do it.
Well, that's like drinking the Kool-Aid from a cult.
Oh, yeah. We're all going to go to, there's a comet that's following, there's a spaceship that's following behind the Hale-Bopp comet. And if you drink this Kool-Aid, we're all going to go to the spaceship that's following behind the Hale-Bopp comet.
Well, we're going to drink the Kool-Aid first, and then we're going to open up where the spaceship is.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to take it.
Yeah. We're going to tell you.
Did you ever see the movie Road Trip? It's an older movie. It's with Sean William Scott.
Where the kid,
the guy made a sex tape with a girl and he sent it to his girlfriend, and then they had to go get it. And Tom Green was in it, and he wanted to feed the snake with the mice.
Oh yeah,
you remember that movie?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, what was the one? Huh?
Yeah, I remember Tom Green. He wouldn't eat it. It's a good movie.
Yeah. What were we talking about? That I was going to make the comparison with Road Trip and that.
Drinking turpentine?
No, it was beyond that. We were just past that.
All right. Well, so just to tie my story all together, I listened to a lady tell people to drink turpentine, and then she said that she was a flat earther. But I wish that I had the foresight to be like, okay, how does the sun work then?
That's the thing, though. They come up with some weird thing. But it's the question that I have is, what explains the seasonal change? Because if we don't move, why does the sun go up in the sky in the summer and down in the sky in the winter?
Or when if the earth was flat, wouldn't the sun just be like, Near?
No, because again, it's perception when you're there.
But where does the sun go? Does it go under and around the earth?
No, it's like this light that goes around. It's like see that's the whole thing. That's
the light goes around.
That's why you can't go to the North Pole, because if you go to the North Pole, you're going to see it's on a string, and then it just rotates around.
Okay,
and that's what lights up the Earth.
But how does the sun go up and down if the Earth is flat?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Again, it's your perception that's messing with you.
Oh, okay. I get. But then why doesn't it go? Near?
Because it's not coming at you; it's above you, so it's going to look like it's rising and setting at the same time.
All right. That makes perfect sense.
The only thing is, again, like I said, it can't count for, I mean, like they make it sound like it could be legit, but again, they don't account for the seasonal change, which means
that too.
The sun sets at a higher degree than in the summer than it does in the winter. And at solar noon, again, it's the same. It's higher in the sky than it is in lower in the northern hemisphere during summer, which is right now.
All right. So my second question is, when are we go? It's Area 51 is September 20th.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think that's when it is. So it's September 20th.
All I know is it's at 3 a.m.
Okay. We're all storming the gate.
Yeah.
All right.
We're all running.
Well, so my friend was telling me about this. He goes, "You hear what's going on? Everyone's going to raid Area 51 and they're just going to go there. They can't stop everyone."
Like 300,000 people. Like this thing is like getting huge.
Got gigantic. Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. This is the most hilarious thing. Okay, so I've been to Area 51. I've been around the area. I've gone to Vegas. Drove the 70 miles or whatever it is to there. And first of all, it's literally in the middle of the desert. It's 70 miles away from the city limits of Las Vegas. It's not close. And then not only that, when you're driving, you're going down this highway, this paved highway, and then all of a sudden, about like the distance that you can see the road going, it hits the mountain right there, and then you see it, and like halfway down is when the actual road turns, and then the straight road is a dirt road, and that dirt road is it's like the front entrance to Area 51, and if you go down the highway, that's the like the continuation of the highway. I think it goes to like Reno or something. I don't even know because I didn't go that far. We went there, and like Independence Day was shot right there. There's a little Alien Inn, which is like a little coffee gas joint place or whatever, or not joint, not gas, but like a little coffee food shop type thing. And it has like this little aliens and the Area 51 stuff, and it talks about like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. It's just like a little museum type thing and gift shop and that. And you can play like video poker in there too. Because
cool.
everything, I mean, you could go play video poker at the fucking gas station. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, first of all, even if you go that far, when we were coming down that road, even though the actual road turns, they have sensors that sense everything around there. So yes, if you have 300,000 people, they're going to know.
Oh, for sure.
And they're going to stop you beforehand.
And we're telling them ahead of time that we're coming. Like, hey, everybody, we're going to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning on September 20th, just so you know. We're all coming.
We're going to find the aliens. First of all, there's no aliens there. No. Let's get that straight. It's a secret military base where they test propulsion systems for next generation aircraft. Well, there's nothing really crazy about that, but yes, they might have like a warp drive or an anti-gravity that they're working on, that they could be generations ahead than we even know about. Especially if you listen to Bob Lazar and you believe his story.
Well, that's where this whole thing came from. So my buddy goes up, he's like, what's going on with Area 51? People are going there. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, Bob Lazar was a guy who claims that he worked at a area outside of Area 51 called, I think it was called S4 or something. And he claims that there was a spaceship there with an anti-gravity propulsion system, and that and he goes, that's what brings all of this attention to Area 51, because his special is on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So he's like, oh, I get it. I'm like, yeah, go watch the special on Netflix. No one would have ever been thinking about Area 51 if it wasn't for that special. So
no, that's not necessarily true, because Independence Day has it.
Yeah, but
even the second Independence Day had it. I mean, it's been in many movies.
Yeah, but right now, people are like, all right, we're going to go to this bitch. And it's partly because this guy is out there talking about Area 51 right now, right? So then he goes, well, tell me about this guy, because he didn't watch or listen to Rogan's podcast with him on there. Yeah, and he was didn't
also
watch the thing.
On another podcast. Well, not a podcast, but on a channel. It was on Secure Team.
Okay.
I think the guy's name is Tyler.
Yeah.
He did like a interview with them at some point.
So I told my friend a story. I'm like, this guy claims that he worked at this place on this anti-gravity propulsion system on a spaceship. And he goes, okay.
Well, it's not necessarily a spaceship. You can't say that, because he never really did say that.
Well, that's the whole thing. He goes, okay, well, if it was a spaceship from outer space and it's anti-gravity, how did it go through space? Because there's no gravity in space. I'm like, what? Didn't even think of that, dude. There's no gravity in space. So how can it be anti-gravity if you are...
That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Everything is perceived by gravity. The reason why we go around the sun is because it's gravity. The Earth is moving as fast around as it is, as it's falling. That's the same thing with astronauts when they're going around the Earth. They're traveling at the speed that's the same as what gravity is. So that's why they're not technically falling, because otherwise, if they went zero, they'd just go crash back into the Earth.
Right, because they're near an object's gravitational pull. But if you're in the dead of space, there is no gravity.
Yes, there is.
That's only gravitational pull from objects.
Yes, but everything pulls on everything. You yourself, even though you're not that big, still have a tiny gravitational pull on the Earth.
Yeah.
I have a tiny gravitational pull on the Earth. The Earth also has a much larger gravitational pull on me and you, because it's much bigger.
Right.
But here's the thing. We go around the sun due to gravity. The sun goes around the stellar arms and around the supermassive black hole due to gravity. So yes, everything is tied together because of gravity. That's how solar systems and that's how galaxies work.
Right, but there's still, in the dead of space, there is no gravity. So that's like, but he made a good point. I'm like, okay, well, that makes perfect sense. You couldn't, even if there's weak gravity, you couldn't use that as a propulsion system to get across the universe, right?
If it warps space and time, yes.
I guess. I mean,
the thing is, you clearly don't have the knowledge.
Well, nobody
somebody who actually studies the field.
Who's like a physicist. Well, yeah.
So people who are actually
that was a good point,
studying,
though. Yeah.
people who are actually studying these things
Yeah.
will have much
Of
better
course.
knowledge than anybody else.
Of course.
You're just be like, oh, I don't know how it works because you don't know how it works.
Well, that's true, but he did make a good point. I'm like, okay, if this anti-gravity thing, like it would work on Earth because there's a good gravitational pull. There's something to push and pull against.
No,
But how would it work?
every single thing has a gravitational force amongst it. Everything.
Yeah, because of mass. But
Dark matter also has vast amounts of gravity too.
allegedly,
Everything is pulled together and apart by gravity itself. So that's why that's why the galaxy goes around in a spiral has a spiral arms, and that's why it goes around and around, because gravity is holding it together.
yeah,
And that's why but I mean, like, so you look at like Andromeda Galaxy and you look at the Milky Way Galaxy. Yes, in a few billion years it's going to collide, but the thing is, at that point it's like a shooting gallery because everything's expanding in a different direction, but some of it's still being pulled together no matter where it is. Everything has a gravitational force. The only thing is, we don't understand gravity and we don't know what it is. So that's why it's hard to put it and quantify it and talk about it, because you don't know what it's about. And you and I know even less of what
Sure
it's
do.
about than
Yeah.
people who are actually trying to study this and come
course.
up with the answers. So you can't just be like, oh, there's no gravity in space, when everything around has gravity. The only thing is, you're in nowhere and nothing's around, so you don't know how gravity's pulling on you in what direction, because if you're just literally sitting there doing nothing, some way, somehow you're pulled somewhere in a particular direction. Or if there was equal amount of gravity in 7 different ways on pulling you in each direction, that you would just kind of sit there and go nowhere, because it's equal force everywhere around.
but space is a vacuum, so that's what I'm like. Okay, well, I mean, that's a good point. So like once you're out of the Earth's atmosphere, you escape Earth's gravitational pull and you're floating.
No, you don't.
You definitely do.
No, you don't.
You escape the pull of Earth's gravity.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
If you stop the spaceship from going 18,000 miles an hour, if you stopped it and brought it down to 0, it will fall back to Earth.
Not once you escape Earth's gravity. That's how
Yes,
satellites
it
stay in a
does. No,
geosynchronous orbit around the Earth.
Because they're traveling at the same amount of gravity's pull. So that's why they go around. If there was no gravity, they would just go out in the vastness of space. They would never come back.
They do if you get far enough away from the Earth.
No, they don't. You clearly have zero understanding of this. You need to really look at some scientific shows that are on YouTube and
All right, I'll do more
Discovery
research
and
into
stuff.
it. But it was a good
Because
point.
Clearly, you don't know how that works, because
So you don't think that space is a vacuum?
Space is a vacuum, but
All
it's not. It's not. The vacuum has nothing to do with gravity. They're not the same. They're not related in any way.
All right. Well, that was a good point. So anyway,
back to Area 51.
So people are trying to storm Area 51 because of this guy's thing. So who knows?
Story.
Yeah. So
Which, did you watch it yet?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it on the podcast. We don't need to.
I watched Bob Lazar on Joe Rogan, and I
Yeah.
watched the documentary.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like? I don't like things that are put in things for shock value.
Yeah.
So-
well, I mean, they do that to keep your attention and, make it seem bigger than what it really is.
I don't need it. I didn't like part of. Did you watch the documentary?
No.
So in parts of the documentary,
I know this. I know the story because the story came. I mean, it's
well,
30
story's
years
fine,
old.
but the documentary, what I didn't like about it was
The
there's
music that they play at certain
no.
points. And
It's well, there could be some dramatic music.
question.
Well, then
but
they'll
that's
play
always
like
embellishing things.
yeah, they'll play like videos of nuclear explosions. I'm like, I don't need that. Just tell me the story. I don't need to see nuclear explosions and crazy editing.
Yeah, but that's the keep,
Shock value.
That's to keep somebody's attention, because people's attentions only go so much, so it grabs you back again. That's the whole point of that. I think
look at me, I'm cool as a film
no,
editor.
I think the questions or the things that they portray, and then the music that they play that make it seem it's like when you're going on like the Bigfoot shows, and they're like, oh my God, what's that? And they crackle in the background. They're like, what is that? And then it cuts to commercial. It's like it grabs your attention, so you stay and watch the rest of it.
Yeah,
it's just that's
dramatic
all it is,
music I get leading up to the build up. I totally get that, but then showing like clips of like.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about. That's why it's there. But yeah, no, going back to the actual storming of Area 51 is, first of all, they say like what 300,000 people are already like signed up to go, or which I think is it's a Facebook thing or something.
It was a guy on Facebook who started it.
An event.
Yeah,
I think on
started
Facebook.
A Facebook event.
But here's the thing: who's actually going to go to Vegas and do it
people.
on the day,
on the
actual day?
Yeah, the Naruto runners.
And who's going to go there? But then here's the other thing: like, even if you park your car at a certain point, it's like 18 miles from the fucking road. Like, it's not close at all. Like, I mean, the closest point you can actually go, and that's not. I don't even think that's actually accurate. The closest point you can go on the canyon to see is like 18 miles.
Yeah.
So that's like what you can see over. And if you have a really good telescopic lens, that's where you can actually see into Groom Lake and see part of the base.
You can't do that anymore. They bought all that property.
There's one spot that you can still do it.
Still see it?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as I knew, they bought everything around there, so you can't even look anywhere.
And then the other thing I want to know is you can get drones now that you can go and fly up high into the air and then just be like, oh, there you go, until it gets shot out.
Yeah,
but
they see them immediately.
Huh?
They see them immediately. You can never get a drone over that thing.
No,
the military has the craziest technology.
I'm not saying. I'm saying if you just put it, if where you're standing, if you're at the closest point you can, shoot up a drone straight up, and then just record it as it's right there.
I'll never get it.
But you couldn't. I mean, you wouldn't be able to. But here's the big thing. Okay, if you have a car that's going there, you don't think that they have electromagnetic or EMPs where they electromagnetic pulse that they can direct right at you and say, sorry.
No, it's going to be just like in Independence Day where they're all going through the desert towards Area 51. That's what it's going to look like.
But here's the thing. That's not what it looks like. It's all mountainous terrain. Yeah. Like you're in the middle of the fucking Rockies.
Oh, there's going to be a Winnebago. Will Smith's going to be dragging an alien there.
Yeah, no. But here, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't think people realize what it looks like. If they're looking and thinking it's Independence Day, that's not it.
Yeah.
Like, the area where they shot, that's where, it's flat. It's like a little valley. But then you have mountains that you got to go over and go into the actual side where Groom Lake is. And Groom Lake, yes, it's an empty bed, so you can see everything there. But you can't get there because guess what? That's all the base.
Yeah. I'm going to be real disappointed when nothing's there anyway.
And here's the thing. There's not just Area 51. There's Area 52. There's Area 53. There's multiple areas because it's a test facility. There's test facilities all over. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
But
plus the jig is up. The secret's out. They're not.
Yeah, everybody knows Area 51's there. It's just it's a military base.
I'd be really surprised if they're testing their high-tech weapons there still.
Not only that, but here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. You do that. You could shoot out an EMP right at all their cars. Now all their cars are disabled. They can't go any further. Then there's directed sound energy weapons that people...
Allegedly.
There are. That they can shine at you and just do like a nice wide angle array. Yeah. And then anybody who's coming in, first of all, they're going to know because they're going to see you at 3 a.m. They have night vision. So they're going to be like, I see you. Yeah. All right, here we go. Sound energy wave. And then all of a sudden, either you're going to get sick, you're going to get inundated with like something, and you're just going to drop like a fly. They've been testing these things, and they actually are out in commercial use in some places for like riot breakups and stuff. So they're already deployed on a civilian, well, I guess you'd say police scale level because of the militarization of police. So it's not like it's allegedly out there. It is. It's just that it's even better because it's a military grade operation weapon versus something that is actually available for like police forces to break up riots.
What they should
SWAT
do is
teams
just
and
open
that.
it up and just be like, come on in. See, look at all these empty airplane hangars. Take a look. Here's one, it's empty. There's one, it's empty. Here's one, totally empty.
Here's the other thing. Wouldn't you then, okay, even if you wanted to say, oh yeah, come on in. We're all gonna.
Here you go. Nothing to see here.
I would show up like the day or 2 or 3 beforehand, sit at the fucking thing, and then be like, all right, they're taking off. There goes one. There goes another. There goes another. And there goes another. There goes. And then they probably just move it to the fucking base in Utah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, there's so many secret bases out there
of course.
that you don't even know. Like, that you don't know.
Well, the military people were wearing Fitbits. And the Fitbit was tracing where they were running, or one of those things that tracks your running thing. And they're on secret bases. So they had to like shut it down because they're giving away their location on this mapping thing. I remember reading that article.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's like a huge oversight.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's the same thing with your phone. Like your phone tracks you everywhere.
Yep.
Unless they were given like special phones that were from them where they like either coded it themselves so it wouldn't be able to track your who you are, and they had their own cell towers. That would be the only way you could. But I mean, everybody knows how it works. You can you're either bust in there or you're flown in there through the Janet planes.
Yeah.
And you park it at Las Vegas International. You go in right there where there's the spot, which is right near Las Vegas International Boulevard, or Las Vegas Boulevard, right by the airport. It's right there. There's a parking lot right there, and then there's the big fucking Janet planes that are right there. And they go to Area 51 and then they fly back. Yeah. And I think, didn't we talk about this last week?
We did.
And now there's actually like an event that's going there.
There's an event. It's hilarious. I think it's the funniest thing ever.
Oh my God, yeah.
And there was a meme on the internet that's like, oh, we're all going to storm. They can't stop all of us. And then it says,
oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, the military says, did you ever feel a 50 cal against your skin or something like that? It's the funniest thing. So another thing that you should do is definitely go to Real Rideshare Stories on YouTube. You should check it out. It's a good channel. I laugh at it because I like comedy and I like to laugh. Real Rideshare Stories on YouTube. Also, Area 51, I don't know if there is anything going on there. I'm sure they've wound everything down since Independence Day movie came out, and they're like, okay, the cat's out of the bag. We got to get stuff out of here. But also, I don't think that aliens exist. I don't think that there's probably, we've talked about this before, there's probably life out there, but I don't think that there's aliens that flew here in a spaceship and they crashed. And I just don't, because what we were talking about earlier, there's so many galaxies and all sorts of things, who knows? But you should definitely check out Real Rideshare Stories on YouTube.
And I think this is a perfect time to say that the sponsor of today's podcast is the YouTube channel called Real Rideshare Stories. Again, go check out our sponsor of today's video, or of today's podcast, Real Rideshare Stories on YouTube.
Who's the guy who does Real Rideshare Stories? Is it Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you'd like to become a sponsor of the Anything Podcast, please email us at therealanythingpodcast@gmail.com. And you could become a sponsor of our podcast.
You definitely could. What is it? therealanythingpodcast@gmail.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
So spelled exactly like it said.
therealanythingpodcast@gmail.com.
Si, senor.
License plate readers at the drive-through. Thoughts? Opinions?
What do they need that shit for?
So that when you drive up to the drive-through, they can have your supersized trough bladder buster ready for you when you go through there, and then you can just keep driving through and they'll just charge your bank account, and then they'll use the knowledge that they learn of what you buy to send you ads.
They're already doing that. So
personalized
it's not really anything different.
No.
I mean, you go to if you download the Walgreens app and you open it, it's geotagged, so if it realizes you're like within a block away, it'll text you and say, or notify you and say, "Oh, come to Walgreens."
Really?
Yeah.
Like we got adult diapers on sale. Get in here.
Yeah.
What?
I think Target might do that too. No, I'm sorry. Target does like an email. And what's crazy is like if I pay cash, it'll still send me an email and say, "You've been at Target. How was please tell us about your experience."
No shit.
From an email. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
See?
So yeah, if you don't think you're being tracked already, you're already being tracked.
Well, what the mall used to do is use your phone to track you going through the store, and they would track what you look at and see how long you're looking at certain things at the store, which I think is bullshit. Like you don't.
Everything is.
I don't like it.
That's why all the data is worth a lot of money, because that's what causing it. And that's what like Facebook and all those places, all the social media that you post all your stuff to, it's worth a lot of money because of what that information can do, so it can sell you stuff. Sure. Essentially.
Well, ads are just going to follow you around now wherever you go. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna have glass screens that are gonna separate drivers from pedestrians in the cities of the future, and it's going to be reflected at such a way that it's directly at your eyesight.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm walking, something will show on that screen.
Yeah.
But if you're walking next to me, you'll see that same screen, but it's going to be something completely different.
Something different.
So I might see a bottled water ad for that, and you might see whatever you got right there, because I can't tell. Kombucha?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So you might get an ad for kombucha in that same exact area, but it's directly towards you. And then the kid that's running by is probably getting a scooter ad on the same thing, but because it's at a reflective point that's directly to him, that's all he sees. And that's crazy. It's going to be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it.
And then they're going to track your eyes. So they're going to have screens or cameras that can not only track your movements and track you, but they'll actually track your eyes and see what you look at and what catches your attention and all that stuff. So
that's what they have that now.
Yeah.
I don't.
But it's going to be on a much larger scale down the road.
Well, don't give them any ideas. Oh my God.
They already know. Please. That's not science fiction. That's already happening. Yeah. Come on.
Have you seen, even scarier? There are two what are called deep fake videos out there that I saw so far. First one.
You've only seen two?
Well, the first one they are real first one.
Are you talking about the Joe Rogan one that sounds like he's going to put a monkey team together?
No. The first one is Arnold Schwarzenegger with Sylvester Stallone's face as the Terminator. He's Arnold the Terminator, but it's Sylvester Stallone. Now the thing is,
I am the Pizzanator. I'm going to get your pizza
with pepperoni and bullets.
Do you remember that one? Oh my God, that was freaking. That was like one of the first parody things that I really like paid attention to. I'm like, because that was like right when YouTube was like starting, and then that's when they had like the Charlie and the Magic Candy Mountain and all that bullshit stuff that would like went viral, and it's like YouTube's completely changed since then, which is great because hi YouTube, how are you?
Yeah. First, I would like to just get to know you. No, the funniest thing was when they had the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard and they would call people, hello, how are you? And people would talk to it. And he'd be like, I would like to order a pizza with pepperoni and bullets. The funniest thing. That'd be great. Anyway, so they have a video. It's not just a Photoshop. It's a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, but it's Sylvester Stallone's face, and it talks, and it's creepy as fuck. That's the first one I saw.
Haven't you seen the Mona Lisa talking yet?
I saw that one, yep.
That's also deep fake.
The second one is Jack Nicholson in The Shining when he's talking to, who's that, the chick that played Olive Oil?
I don't remember.
I don't know her name either, but you know who I'm talking about. Have you seen The Shining?
Yeah, fucking 20 years ago.
Yeah, Red Rum. So it's Jack Nicholson when he's at his typewriter. Yeah, he's at his typewriter. But I think it's Jim Carrey's face that they put on him.
But you see that all the time. I mean, you look at like some of the memes, like the Trump and CNN memes on like WWE.
Yeah, those are Photoshop though. It's not a video.
No, it is a video.
Okay. Well, I've
So
only
you actually
seen-
see, like, you'll see like Trump running down. I mean, that's actually real because Trump was in like, I don't know, WrestleMania or something, and he runs down and like kicks somebody or something, and then it shows like the CNN logo, and then there's one like a Jim Acosta, and it's like it's the very beginning, but. I mean, I have Adobe, like we use Adobe products for our recordings and our editing and all that. I have After Effects by Adobe, which is I can actually go in and take video, and then I can be like, oh, a car just went through. I can select that car and erase it and not have to worry about reshooting the film because it'll fill in what it's supposed to be in the background by using AI and different technology. So I can erase things. Same thing if I wanted to take a screenshot like a video and you got there, I can just click on you and erase you out of that. You just aren't there.
Well, that's just like, but where they're making Jim Carrey on Jack Nicholson's face talk, that's some crazy shit. Like it looks real. Like holy shit. It looks like it's Jim Carrey. It's Jack Nicholson's face. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, but that
so that means that
thing with,
someone can make you say anything.
They have to have a certain amount of words.
Yeah.
And obviously with the podcast, they can get that amount of time.
Not since you're disguising your voice so much.
Am I? I am. Yes, I am.
Uh-huh.
My real voice is like this, if anybody really wants to know.
Me too. That's hilarious.
Actually, every time I answer the phone... Oh, you want to hear something really funny?
Always.
So every time I answer a call that's I know is probably a scam, I'll be like, oh, let's see, look at the phone number, and I'll be like, oh, shouldn't have done that. I'll be like, hello, hi there, can I help you? And then if I don't hear anything, I'll be like, press 1 if the job's done. And usually at that point is when they'll hang up. If they don't hang up, I'll be like, if you're in trouble, you don't know me. And then I hang up the phone.
Well, here's what's crazy, since we've been talking about this. So if you work at a call center, you get blasted with phone calls that are trying to sell you either Medicaid and Medicare. They want to fraud you on Medicaid or student loans. Like, trying to refinance your student loans. They call you, but the thing is, they have the same dialer as a lot of other companies have that for legitimate reasons, and they just blast you with these phone calls all day. But here's the funniest thing. It doesn't matter what you say to these people. They hang up on you.
It's not true. Well, some of them only need are looking for keywords.
Right. So here's what happens.
That's the difference.
You get an inbound call first, and it's sometimes it's a foreign person.
All the time it's a foreign person.
There's Americans who do this, but so the company, what it is let's say you own a company where you want to try to be a third party vendor to refinance people, and it's probably partly a scam, but probably not illegal, but it's kind of shady area. But you would hire this other phone company to blast these phone calls out for you, and if someone acts interested, then they're supposed to transfer them to your company. However, this company that you hired, they're getting paid by phone calls made, not by successful calls. So they don't give a shit. They're just blasting out as many calls as they can. And as soon as you pick up, they don't care. They hang up on you because they're getting paid by phone call or something. That's the only...
Yeah, but the thing is, though, sometimes they're actually looking for you to say certain words, too.
Yeah.
So they're looking for yes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Those are scammers, but companies that are hired to get contact. So here's the fucked up thing. I want to tell these people, you're wasting your time. You're calling a company. And no matter what you say to them, they hang up on you. Oh, yeah, I do want to sign up for insurance. Yes, I do want Medicaid. They hang up. It's so fucked up. But what's happening now...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Yes, we have received a threat on your Microsoft. We are about to shut it down.
That's a scam.
If you would like to...
That's not what I'm talking about.
If you would like to continue your using your computer, you need
That's
to
a scam.
let us... Yeah, I know.
Those are people who you call.
Literally.
Yeah.
No, those are sometimes call you.
Well, if they call you, but it's still a scam. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about companies that say, do you have a student loan? Do you want to refinance your student loan? And if you say yes, what they're supposed to do is transfer you to the company that can probably shadily refinance your student loan.
It's not...
It's volume, so they hang up on you.
Here's the thing, though. It's not... So the student loan refinancing... I mean, when you're actually doing like a real student loan refinancing, that's not a scam. That's legal because what
Right.
they're doing is they're a loan vendor.
Yes.
And they're looking to get your interest paying to them.
Yes.
So that's how they make money.
Yes.
Because they don't care about the principal of the loan.
Yes.
They just care about the fact that they're getting the interest.
Yes.
So it's not illegal.
Yes.
They're loaning out money and then you have to
Yes.
pay back. And it might save you some money because you're refinancing.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because now all your interest payments goes directly to them because how much student debt there is that's out there in the country.
So that company,
But they're operating legally.
Mm-hmm.
They're operating legitimately.
sometimes.
Well, I'm saying for the most part. I'm saying for real actual
Yes.
refinance programs.
Right.
They're trying to drum up business by calling people out.
No.
And
So here's the thing.
but no. I'm not. Let me finish. Where they're trying to drum up business by calling people out. Yes, they're not actually making the calls out. They hire another company that says, "Yeah, we're everything's blasted," but when it comes back to them, but that's the whole thing. They're actually real and legit, but there are companies out there that do have student loan that are student loan scams.
Yes.
So that's why it's very difficult to figure it out on what is real
here's
and
the
what's a
problem.
scam.
So now you, as the student loan refi, shady or not shady, you hire this company to get contacts for you. You don't know that that company is calling thousands of other companies. They're just calling any number they can in companies, but you don't know that they're not even transferring you the people who say yes. They're just hanging up
so
on everyone and then charging you.
That's the scam,
Yep.
though. That's the real scam.
It's the real
not,
scam, yeah.
The scam isn't that they're trying to refinance your because they want your business.
Yeah.
They actually want to like take you.
Well, the
take
student loan
accounts.
people do, and they don't know that the
but that's-
third-party company that they're calling isn't even transferring them the phone calls. But
Yeah,
here's the
because
best part about
they're
it.
probably what they probably do is they probably put in a few phone numbers to make it look, and then they're like, oh well, the accepted pass-through rate
Yeah.
is 8%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So for every 8 phone calls,
yeah.
we'll send them along.
Yeah.
Even though you might have 25 or 30 people who are actually interested in it.
Yeah.
But they'll just put the 8 through.
Yeah.
So at least then that way they can stick to that percentage.
Right.
And then sometimes they'll do a little bit lower. Sometimes they'll do a little bit higher and say, oh, we had a good month. It was about 9.7%.
Yeah.
And then the next month, oh, sorry, it was only 6.4%.
So now that they're trying to stop these phone calls because those are unsolicited telemarketing calls that
Yeah.
are technically illegal. If you say that you don't want these calls anymore, they're
Yeah.
not supposed to be able to call you because it's an unsolicited. It's a telemarketing phone call.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is because they're not listening. If you're like, don't call me anymore. Their phone companies are trying to devise this thing. Well, now these phone calls are saying fraudulent phone call when they're calling in.
Or illegal scam.
Yeah. But
And
I mean,
that's
they're not illegal or fraudulent. That might be a legitimate company. But on the other hand, when you try to tell them stop calling, they just hang up on you. So the whole thing is a huge mess.
Yeah.
And who knows what the solution is going to be?
RoboKiller.
Well,
For those who don't know what RoboKiller is, it's an app that you can actually download. This podcast is not sponsored by RoboKiller, but RoboKiller, if you're listening, hit us up. Maybe we can work out a sponsorship. But no, actually what RoboKiller is, it's an app that you can download, and it will block every phone call coming into your phone unless it's numbers that you put in. So it'll sync to your contact list. So it'll allow people in your contact list in, and it'll pass through to your phone. So it'll, that way it'll ring. Mm-hmm. And then you can say 1-800 numbers that you have, maybe a bank or whatever. You can then put those in for numbers that need to come through.
Right.
And then anybody else, what it'll do is it'll actually answer the phone for you. And it can have a bunch of different pre-recordings, and some of them are actually like really funny. Like they'll do like scenarios of stuff, say like that you're on a canoe or you're having a baby, and like these are all pre-recorded and you can select and choose what ones you want, and then it'll, if people act on it and whatnot, they'll send you the recording so you can actually listen to it later, so you can hear what's going on with those people when they're calling, even if it might be like a legitimate business.
Yeah.
But if they're like an unsolicited caller, it'll block them. And then
Well, what
it's
if
just pretty funny.
that's where the issue is? What if it's your bank calling you, or what if it's your student loan calling
that's
you?
the whole thing. It's
That's the whole
you
problem.
can put those numbers in.
Yeah, but how would you know?
But because it sends you the recording, and it
No,
sends you all
yeah,
the
I
numbers that are blocked.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I get what you're saying,
But here's the if you answer the phone, it should say what it is right off the bat.
Right.
So you should know. But yeah, RoboKiller, you can do that.
Yeah.
And then, hey, if your bank needs to get a hold of you, they can email you.
Yeah.
Or when you log in, you can send them notifications there.
Yeah, but see, that's
Or-
the problem. The rules are that they can't email you. You can't do a lot of this stuff unless they have your consent. The whole thing is messed up.
Well,
We
no,
need to get
your bank can email you.
You have to opt in.
Your bank can email you, yes.
You have to opt into emails.
And if you have an online account, then you have to.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So it's not. That's
But if
not.
you don't sign up for you just get regular old paper bills. That's why everything's messed up. They need your permission to do this, and they don't need your permission to track you everywhere you go and try to.
No, they do need it. It's just that you don't know that they're doing that, and some of them are just shady to begin with. But that's the difference between Google's platform on Android and Apple's platform on the iPhones. Is that on the Google Play Store, anybody can upload anything and have malicious code in there. And
On the Google Play Store?
on the Google,
They're not
because
scanned?
it's an open source.
Yeah. But
It's all open source.
I
So
thought they're scanned and
no, not Google Play Store.
they're not vetted
Nope.
at all? I'd look into that.
Yeah, they weren't. That was why there was a lot of things that were happening because it's open source.
Yeah.
But Apple, on the other hand, they go through all the code in an app, and if they find anything malicious, they'll flag it, and either you have to change the code
I
on
think
the app
the
development
Google Play
side.
Store has the same thing.
If they did, they just implemented that more recently because they weren't doing that for a while because it
Really?
is an open source.
Well, just because it's open source doesn't mean that they can't check everything, right?
Yeah, they can. I mean, but that's the whole thing. You can, so the security on the iPhone is much better than an Android.
Well, that's one thing that okay. So iPhone fights when there's some kind of warrant and they want to crack people's code in their phone and get the unencrypted things, right? iPhone fights for that. Well, Google doesn't need to fight. Android doesn't need to fight. So all of these other things, are there already like backdoors into these things? There's Google just bake them right in.
But Apple is, you can argue a lot, but when it really comes down to it, Apple and privacy is very, very serious.
Yes, they don't sell your data.
There are ways to get into it. I mean, there's been iCloud hacks.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet isn't.
But they do their best.
Yeah, the internet isn't. Think of the internet as like a street, like a subdivision street, and you have houses on it, and anything that's being transferred would be like you walking from one house to another house. But the thing is, there's no lock on the door. And that's how the internet was designed. If you started a whole new internet where it was like there were locks and keys and all this stuff, and you
Like
actually
the Pied Piper.
the what? But yeah, no. If you had like locks and keys where you can actually like encrypt certain information and stuff, then the internet would be a lot, I guess, safer place you could say for these data breaches and these hacks and things. But what Apple does is that they actually have all this encryption that's put in to the phone, so nobody can really access it, and they take actually a high amount of pride in doing that. And there are ways to get in, like they did have what was it, a couple years ago at this point now, there was a court case somebody that they wanted to get into their phone for some reason. They had a warrant to get in, and they're like, well, we can't do anything about it. and there was this weird thing that was happening where they were going to go, they were like on, like the government was on the precipice of doing something that would have made Apple to try to get into this phone or whatever it was. But what really was going on was, and then somehow the FBI cracked into the phone or got into the phone, and then it just kind of disappeared. It was this weird.
They paid a lot of money, as far as I knew.
No, because Apple never gave them the.
No, not to Apple. The government is. If I didn't hear all of what you're saying, but if you're talking about cracking into iPhones, the government paid a lot of money to a third-party vendor to have the phone cracked. Mm-hmm. And well, here's the thing. So I received a letter that my medical information had been stolen from
Dun, dun, dun.
from a
Hold on. Dramatic music. Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Okay. From a diagnostic place, we'll call it that.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. And I got a letter that there'd been a hack.
Dun dun dun.
That my medical information has been stolen. That might include my name, where I live, my social security number, the type of tests that were performed on my blood work, and like everything you could probably steal, these hackers got. So now every day there's some kind of ridiculous hack. The border security got hacked. They use your facial.
Oh, there's everything gets hacked. Yeah.
So what's the solution here? Like I'm thinking, like, okay,
you need a whole new internet.
You really
need a whole new internet that's based on lock and key. But crypto, I mean, crypto and that could be, or blockchain could be the, can be an answer for security too, as well.
Well, that's why I said the Pied Piper. So there's a show called Silicon Valley, I think it's called, on HBO. I forget what it's called, but they're trying to make that internet that like is segmented and split up so that encryption is through everybody that participates in it, so that your files would be spread out. Like it would be on part of my file would be on my phone, your phone, and they have to, once you decrypt them, so each little, you get the concept. That's what but I cannot believe the amount of things that are hacked into and stolen.
Oh yeah. I mean, because information is valuable.
But you know what? A lot of the times it is. It's some dumbass like, oh, this is the IT guy, and type in your password here because we need to reset your password. It's a phishing email. They type in their password like idiots.
Oh yeah.
It's not some hackers that are like, do.
Actually, funny story. I mean, that is happen. What they do.
But a lot of times it's just phishing scams.
Especially like the Target credit card.
Well, that was crazy. Issues, They had the malicious code right in the code reader.
Yeah.
You believe that shit?
But so what's funny was I actually did a video that I posted earlier today on YouTube for the Real Rideshare Stories about scams and, how they're how passengers are targeting drivers to try and fish for information. And they can either do it through a text when they order the ride itself. They'll try to send the driver a text message and have them click a link or call a phone number to get information from them. They'll try to call them and be impersonating a Lyft or Uber representative saying that you need to verify certain information. And then they also have the emails that they can send out to people and say, you need to verify this information. And it looks like an email from Uber or Lyft, but it's really not. And it's just trying to target drivers to get their information. And then also you have the people who are talking to you face to face that are, they're real personable, they're really charismatic, and they're actually trying to get your information from you. So like a couple of things that can be said, and this can be for anything. They could be like, oh, hey, like you could be walking by a bank or driving by a bank or something, and they could be like, hey, I'm trying to get a new bank. What's your bank? Who do you use? Do you like them? And right there, if it sounds like it's a legit question. It sounds like it's somebody who's just trying to get need help from something. But what they're really doing is, oh, I just got your bank information. I just got your bank, where you bank now.
Yep.
I know your name. I got your picture, all that. And now I got your bank.
It's crazy.
So, and then they can fish for more information. They can say, "Oh, so do you live around here? Where do you live?" I've been looking at different areas. I'm just trying to figure out. So, what's your like? What's the school?
Yeah.
And then you say the school district, and bam, guess what? Now they know the township you're in.
Oh, yeah, for
so
sure.
they can ask these questions that go roundabout, but they just look and are disguised just to get your information. So you got to really watch out. And in the video, I just say, well, one, don't accept the texts, don't click on any links. And this isn't just for like driver protection. This is if you ever get a text in general, avoid the text itself. Either delete it, but never click the link because you don't know where it could go.
I told you there are
And
local singles in my area
Yeah,
waiting to
no,
meet
that's
me.
not the same thing. Don't take a phone call. And then also, like the one thing that is happening. So with Uber and Lyft, if the driver calls the passenger, they send it through the app and take it to a third-party phone number, so it shows up on the passenger's caller ID from this third-party phone number, and then vice versa, where if the passenger calls the driver, it goes through this phone number. And what's nice is they'll actually say, this is a call from your passenger. Do not give out any personal information, because that was what is happening. And that's how it was going. And so I noticed that yesterday or the other day when somebody called me and it popped up saying, this is a call from your passenger. Do not give out any information, blah, blah, blah. So that they make that notification known, which is good. But some people might not listen to that and not pay attention to it and get caught up. And it's like, no, if you don't know who you're talking to, make sure you know who you're talking to, or hang up the phone and make sure you know who you're going to be talking to, and then call those people back and triple verify that that's the right thing.
Did you see, I don't know if you saw in the news, finally the people who get the gift cards, the scammers who scam people to get the gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
So the victim, I think it was a female, spent $23,000 life savings on Target gift cards. Most of the time they get you to get your Google Play card.
Yeah, they can do anything. Yeah,
the Target card. So then they have videos of the people who went into Target, and it wasn't just one or two. There was like, I think there were 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 people who were cashing in these Target gift cards. I think they were $1,000 or $2,000 at a time. And it was a bunch of different people who went into these Targets to buy high value merchandise to sell on the internet from this woman's. They got $23,000 out of her, and that was on the news. And I saw it was in Texas. So but
the scammers were actually U.S. based, though, right?
Well, that's what they were in United States Targets. They were foreign, but they were in United States Targets. So I don't know whether it was a foreign scammer.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you're on the phone with a scammer and they try to get you to get Google Play cards or Target gift cards or whatever card it might be, iTunes cards, if you scratch it off on the back, you can take that number and put it into essentially that's what you do. Like Google Play, you have your account, and then you put in the information, or you put the 16-digit code of that card in, and then the balance of whatever it was transfers into your account. So when they're saying, if you ever follow through on that scam, they'll say, "Oh, go to your local Walmart or Target or gas station or whatever it might be, and get Google Play cards, and you need to get denominations of $500. So get 5 $100 cards each." And then they'll say, okay, well, scratch off the back of the card, read the 16-digit code, and that's what they're doing. As you're reading the 16-digit code, they're putting it in, so they're taking that money immediately and putting it into their account versus that person's account. So it might look like there's there might not be transactions happening because that's how the gift card works, but that money, as soon as you're saying the number, it's being drained out. And that's the scams that are like the tech scams and all those, but those are with foreign involvement. To actually have the gift cards in hand,
that's what's crazy.
That's a different type of scam.
And there was not just one or two people who had these cards. They were foreign. They were
But that's the thing.
You can't. I don't know if they were foreign, but they were.
That's a whole different type of thing.
But they went in. They were in the U.S. They went into Targets in the U.S. and got the gift cards and cashed them in. But it wasn't just one or two people. Well, I'm surprised, and I was like, these people know that this is stolen money, and they have no problem going in there and cashing these things in, getting high value items and selling them on the internet.
So
it's a crime ring. It's disgusting.
So here's the deal with that. I don't think that's not the same scammers as what you're thinking of, because if somebody goes and takes the card, takes the value of the card, then they have it in their account. They don't need that. They don't need the plastic card. That plastic card has zero value at that point because the money's already been transferred to an account. If they actually have these gift cards, it sounds like it could just be like a gift card. They have cash for gift card purchases that you can do. So if, say, I get a Target gift card and I want to cash for it. Instead, say I got $100 gift card, but I don't like going to Target. I want to cash for it instead. You can go and you can go and essentially sell your gift card to a place, and they might take like a processing fee of like say $10.
Well, that's what a lot of people used to do.
And but that's how they would actually get the physical cards. That's the only way. Because
I don't know if they had the physical cards. They went into Target to get high value items because they had credits that this person spent $23,000 on.
The way you explained it sounded like they had the gift cards.
Well, that's what the news said. They said that the scammers talked the victim into spending $1,000 or $2,000. I can't remember if it was $1,000 or $2,000 at a time on Target gift cards, but the people went into Target to get the high value items to sell on the internet, and it wasn't just one or two people. There was a bunch of people, and they were men and women, and I'm just thinking like, they know that they're criminals. Like, I could never do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just disgusting, but it makes me sad that this crap is going on all around the world. It's a huge problem. Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
but,
scammers.
I mean, the thing is though, that one, I would have to know the full information because if they're saying that they're using,
I don't know if they use the gift card. They talk the victim into getting the
thing
gift card.
Though, if they're using the gift card, that means that scam or that person going into Target and actually using the gift card would actually have to come in.
Yeah, they just
full
need the
contact to get that
I'm
card.
sure they just had the numbers.
Other than that, they just need the number, like a Google Play card. That's the thing. You type in your card, or it's like a Starbucks card. If you have a Starbucks account, you put in your card, and then it goes into your virtual account, essentially.
Well, I hope they have videos of these people, so I hope they catch them, which I was surprised to. That's what I was surprised to see, because the common scam is just the.
That's why you need those license plate scanners going into Target, or going into Taco Bell and KFC and McDonald's.
Because of the criminals, everyone should be tracked all the time. That's what we're getting to.
100%.
It's disgusting. Well, the other thing.
Please, you're not being tracked right now with this thing.
Yeah. No, no, it's over here.
Doesn't matter.
And that was just one thing. So there's a woman around here who got.
There's a lot of people around all over the
place. Scammed for it, but check this one. It was $230,000.
That's a lot of money.
This person met someone on the internet.
Oh, and dating scams?
It was a dating scam, and said that they needed money for their broken down oil rig. They're broken. But
the rig's broken down.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm off the coast of Mexico.
They said China or something.
I'm off the coast of Gulf of Mexico.
They said, yeah.
Barry right now is pounding.
Yeah.
The BP, you know where the BP oil spill is?
Yeah.
I'm in charge of that.
Yeah.
And it's starting to spill again, so I need some money to fix it.
Yeah. And she sent her money around here.
Yeehaw.
That was around here. And I'm like, oh, man. Oh. So that's another thing. But it's made the amount of fraud and scams is too damn high.
You know the fun scams that I like is like the Tinder scams. Did you hear about this one?
No.
This is where they met up like a couple or a guy was talking to a girl on Tinder, which is how, Tinder works. They met up and she was a hooker. And her pimp comes in and says, "You owe her time, or you owe me money for her time."
What?
So that's the whole thing that's going on sometimes too.
I have
Is like
never
some of these
had-
people are hookers
Yeah.
or pimps, or in this case escorts.
Okay.
Because there was no sex. They met up. He was under the impression that she was on Tinder looking for a relationship or looking for whatever they were looking for. Because sometimes Tinder is just bump and grind and have a good day. Pound and
Well, that's what it's for, right?
No, you can.
Oh.
It's dating. It's all that stuff.
Okay.
It's dating, hooking up, whatever.
I have never had that problem with my profile on Grindr.
Oh, are you telling me something that you have a Grindr profile now?
Does that thing even still exist? Is there a
Yeah.
Grindr? Is it real?
I don't know. I've never
Okay.
used it. I've never even looked into it. I thought it was like the gay and lesbian communities type of Tinder.
Yeah, that's what's funny about the joke I just made.
Yeah, but are you telling me something?
Definitely not. Actually, I was going to tell you something. Diane Keaton. I think it's her. Who was in Annie Hall? Who was Annie Hall in the Woody Allen movie?
I couldn't tell you.
All right. So that woman, I think it's Diane Keaton.
I couldn't even tell you because I don't even know what movie you're talking about.
You don't know any Woody Allen movies? The most famous one, Annie Hall?
No.
Holy
I never
crap.
watched it.
What?
No.
Neither did I until just now, but I know what it was. I'm pretty sure. Well, I think she's in her 70s now, but she said that she's been single for hasn't been on a date in over 35 years as a single woman. So I'm not the only one.
Yeah, but she's still probably getting pounded every other day.
No, she's just a single woman.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's just like, I was always by myself.
Wait, who?
I think her. Let me find out.
Yeah, find out because that's kind of like the Charlize Theron thing, like where she's like, would just a guy like grow a pair?
I remember that. Yeah, just ask her. Well, she's devastatingly attractive.
Yeah, but what's the problem? All right, here I'll make an open invitation. Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
My name is Chris, and this is the Anything Podcast. So you can find me or email me or whatever it might be. But would you like to go out on a date, Miss Charlize Theron? So anybody who's listening, if you know Charlize in any way, shape, or form, this is an open invitation. Charlize Theron, would you like to go out on a date? Let me know. I'll be waiting for your answer. Maybe I'll put this little soundbite on Twitter and post it to her Twitter page.
Yep, Diane Keaton it was.
Okay.
Says that she hasn't been on a date in 35 years.
Well, I mean, look at her.
She's an attractive woman. She was in Annie Hall.
You've never seen that movie. I don't even know what the fuck movie that is. I don't know. I don't think she's that. You know who? What the hell's? Oh my god! What's her one name? There's a very attractive Diane, but I don't remember what her name is. I don't want the movie. There's a movie Diane. No, I want an actual person named Diane. Stupid Google. The fuck. Damn it. Damn it. This is why Google sucks sometimes. Diane name there. Maybe that might work. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Damn it, Google. You're messing me up. Diane Lane? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Hold on. Now I closed it down. Diane? Oh yeah, Diane Lane. She's a hottie. She's hot. Mm-hmm. She's 54 and she's smoking. Mm-hmm.
No one beats Elizabeth Hurley. Have you seen her?
Yeah, she's all right.
Are you serious right now?
We
might have to completely stop this podcast completely.
You do realize everybody has different tastes.
But Elizabeth Hurley is
I've seen better.
Who? Charlize Theron?
No.
How about Heidi Klum? Heidi Klum, I think, just got married to a 29-year-old dude. She's 46.
I like Jennifer Lopez better.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I like the.
All right, I'll get it. I don't like Jennifer Lopez.
I like a booty.
All right, I can respect that.
I like to smack it and watch it ripple a little bit.
But there's no way that you can't tell me that looking at Elizabeth Hurley in a
she's
bikini
hot.
is
She's
not
hot, but-
unbelievably hot.
She's hot,
For
but I've
in
seen
her
better.
50s. But she's in her
There's
50s.
a lot. Jennifer Aniston. I'd probably say she would probably be on my number one celebrity list. Would be Jennifer Aniston.
I think Elizabeth Hurley's hotter than her.
Well, you think that, and I think Jennifer Aniston is hotter.
Well, that's why everyone's allowed to have their own opinion, but you're wrong.
No, you're wrong. You're a moron, and that's why.
Man, holy crap.
So, yes, Jennifer Aniston, if you're listening, there's an open invitation as well, too. Not trying to be a pimp or anything, but no, she is smoking hot. I got a thing, and she's in her 50s, too.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt.
There's a lot of stars. There's a lot of starlets in their 50s right now.
Well, to me,
and they're looking fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
I
don't. Charlize isn't in her 50s, but she's the hottest
younger.
of the hot. She's unbelievably
Charlize?
hot. Yeah, man.
I'm the one who asked her out, though, not you. Sorry.
Well, I'm doing the Diane Keaton. I'm
Diane Keaton's much older.
She's 73, but she's eternally single, just like me.
You could do Jane Fonda.
All right.
You could date a Jane Fonda. She's what? Did she hit 80 yet?
I don't know.
Jane Fonda is.
All right. So a man recently went over Niagara Falls and lived.
81. Yes, she is. Wow.
Jane Fonda?
Yeah. So she did hit the 81. I mean, she's had so much plastic surgery. She's like, I don't know. I think she's going like off the deep end or something right now. There were some stories I heard. I don't remember what they were, and it just made her sound like she was going a little off the deep end. And then who's the old one? She's like what, 95 right now?
Betty White?
Betty White, yes. She is fucking on fire. She could do American Gladiator, Ninja Warrior. She could do that shit and be like, yeah, I did that. There's a lot of shit.
So yeah, a man recently went over Niagara Falls and lived.
Mm-hmm.
Not an easy feat.
Happens.
Not very often.
Doesn't happen often, but if you hit the right spots, you hit fine.
Well, you can only live going over the Canadian side, but even then, most people drowned.
Mm-hmm.
But he made it.
You got lucky.
Yep.
Because wasn't what you call it right there to pull him out?
Well, I think
the boat wasn't the boat right there to pull him out.
Like the Maid of the Mist.
Yeah.
No,
well,
I
the
think,
Canadian side.
No, because I think the story I read, it happened early in the morning. Like he got swept over the falls, and then he found him sitting on a rock.
Over, quote unquote.
Accidentally, on purpose, jumped into the falls.
Oh, look at me. I mean, I don't know how you accidentally. There's a fucking wall around the whole damn thing. Yeah. But I mean, if you were up the river and got caught in the current, that's a whole different story because that current will fucking take you over quick. I mean, it's crazy. I would really like to, I don't know. That current is like 26 mile per hour or something. I don't even know. It's strong though.
Oh, see, this says 4 o'clock in the day.
Yeah, see.
I thought it was 4.
There's a lot of shit going on. Imagine being a person there and seeing them fall into the falls and go overboard. Like if you were in the fucking boat as it's happening, and you're looking up and you're like oh no, you're like, oh my god, look at the falls, it's so pretty, and you got your phone out and you're taking pictures and video, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy fuck, there's a person going down.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. Would you jump in and try to save him?
Oh, hell fucking no. Hell no. That's why you go grab
that's what heroes do, Chris.
No, that's why you go grab the fucking flotation device and you throw it overboard and you say, man overboard. Man falls over the falls board. And you get the fucking thing and you throw it to him and be like, here you go. Because they got the rope and then you pull him back in. Nope. You don't go in the water there. Dude, you'll be swept under with the currents.
The man was observed to climb over the retaining wall at around 4 on Tuesday before falling over the cliff, police said. After searching beneath the falls, police found the man sitting on rocks with non-life-threatening injuries. The man was near the brink of the Horseshoe Falls. That's the largest of
I know
Niagara
exactly
Falls.
where that is.
Yeah. Well, you can't.
I've been that spot. You
can't survive going on the other ones. I know that there's like rocks and shit. Though that the horseshoe's the only one that people have survived going over. I know that.
Yeah, because the American
Could you
Falls side
imagine?
there's
There's
and
rocks.
the other one there's too much rocks because of the way it falls.
What about when they turned off the falls? Wouldn't that be cool to go see that?
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for
think
them
they're
to
gonna do
do
that
that
again,
with the
yeah.
American Falls.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Because I want to actually stand on that ground and say, this is where 100,000+ gallons per second go
Yeah.
over. It's like some ridiculous amount. I don't even remember. But it's a lot.
I couldn't imagine seeing someone go over the falls though. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen?
I've seen a lot of things. I don't
me
know.
too.
I'd have to think about it because that's like asking this most random freaking question. What's the craziest thing you... Dude, I've seen a lot of crazy shit.
So
I'd
have
have
I.
to think about it.
One of the craziest things I've ever seen was during the 2006 winter storm. Do you remember that where it was pandemonium
Which
and
one?
hoodlum? The 2006 winter storm that
Which
crippled
one?
everything. The one. There's only one.
There's been like 1,000 fucking snowstorms that's crippled everything. So
no, there's-
2006 doesn't tell me shit.
Well, you must not.
Here,
know.
look. I could have fallen over.
That's scary.
That's where it was. That would have been where it was. That's probably what he was doing.
That's no. Well, if you're in the water, you're definitely there on purpose, right?
No, I'm saying like that. Like how? Okay, so what the picture is? I'm at the falls horseshoe side, Canadian, or on the horseshoe falls Canadian side. There's this like stone tablet, or there's this like what the fuck is it? Some memorial thing that's right there, but there's a post and there's a guard, and I was taking a picture, making it like on the post, and I'm sitting like off of it with my ass just on the part of it, and making it seem like I'm falling down the falls, and it was like a camera trick that I was just messing around with. But you could easily fall backwards, and then you're in the water because the water's right there.
Well,
So
I
it's-
think you would hit that dirt though. I mean,
Well,
you'd have to
yeah.
tumble, right?
I mean, it depends. Like, you could fall backward and gravity or inertia could take you further. But there's that spot that's right there that if you're doing something like that, you could fall right into the water because they have the concrete and the stone that's right there, and then the water's right on the other side of that. So yeah, you could fall in accidentally if you're trying to get up on the thing and being like, oh, look at me, I'm funny.
Maybe.
But
I think they're all jumpers that are out in the water.
I mean, it's more than likely somebody who's trying to jump.
And
But-
no, accidents do happen. I will give you that.
And that's the thing. It does, but more than likely somebody's trying to get into the water and make a jump. But in that case, it could have been like somebody he's flipped and fell, and I
No,
mean,
it could be.
I haven't seen any of the footage, even though that they have it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Because all that has video camera there. They're like eagle eye. Whoosh.
Yep. They know exactly. So
Plus all the plus all the phones that are taking pictures of and
they
videos
have
of
everything.
everything. I mean, there's I haven't seen anything though come out.
in October 2006.
Oh, the October storm.
Yes.
That's what it's called, not the 2006 storm.
Oh, okay.
Dude, every fucking 2 weeks there's a snowstorm.
Well, that's
happening.
true.
The
But there was
2006
only one
storm.
October storm.
Well, yeah, that's the difference.
That was okay. So for listeners, here's what happened. We live in Western New York, and we get snowstorms. But this particular snowstorm came early because it doesn't really snow in October. It does, but
very rarely.
Yeah,
Very,
so-
very rarely.
what had happened was, now the truth, since I'm a flat earther, is that North Korea had launched this nuclear missile. They were doing nuclear missile tests.
No.
And somehow
give
the
'em-
magnetic
Go to the real
nuclear
thing.
thing had come around the world and
Yeah, no.
affected weather in
Around the
Western New
world,
York.
you're a flat earther. How can it go around the world? You already just disproved your theory. Now
You got me.
go on to the
Damn it.
October storm.
So there were the biggest snowflakes I've ever seen coming down. And it was a nice sunny day, about 4 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yeah, it was also like 60 degrees
Yep,
too
it was
beforehand.
pretty warm.
And then all of a sudden it's like whoosh cold.
Yeah.
Freezing.
Yep. I look out the window at work, and there
Snow
were
is
these
falling.
gigantic snowflakes that were literally the size of like softballs, I would say.
They weren't that big.
They were
But
pretty big.
They were big, but they weren't that big.
Well,
Nice
where
try.
I was, they were that
They
big.
were probably the size of this cap, which is actually
They were
still
bigger.
a
They were
big
golf ball size.
snowflake.
Yeah. So then I got to work at 5 o'clock. And I remember driving home. It was a Thursday. I remember driving home down this particular street.
And the streets are like everything's semi-covered, and
Yeah.
it's I'm pissed off because I'm like, fucking hey,
Right.
seriously?
Yeah, and
What
the snow wasn't
I
even
hate
really sticking. That's how early in the season it was. The snow doesn't even really stick to the ground until it's really cold out. So, but what I noticed was that going down this particular street, it was like going through a tunnel of trees. The trees, and I didn't realize at the time because of the weight of the snow, were bending the branches of the trees over.
Because
And I'm like-
okay, so to put into perspective, because you're not giving any of the scientific information around, there was an early snowstorm in it was October 12th, 2006, and everybody around here calls it the October storm because, well, we don't get snow then. And so what happens is it was warm. There was a lot of moisture. The lake is still warm. And there was lake effect snow coming off. And the way that the winds were, they were going over the lake, picking up all this moisture, and then dropping it off in the form of snow, which usually happens with lake effect. The only difference is all the trees still had the leaves on them because they don't fall for another couple of weeks. So you couple all the leaves, which act as like these little like placeholders for all this moisture, and then you have snow that's very heavy and very water dense, so it's still snow, but it's very heavy snow, instead of like the light fluffy stuff in the middle of the freaking cold winter. This is very heavy, so couple that together, and now the snow is dragging the leaves downward, and branches are coming downward instead of the normal place that they're normally at where there's no snow on them. And then continue.
Well, so I was driving home and I didn't realize. I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm going through a tunnel right now. This is really weird, but I didn't realize anything was going on. Got home from work, and then the trees, the snow was so heavy, the branches started to break, trees started to fall down. And that just caused.
And this was mostly at night too. This wasn't at like during the day.
No.
So it started. I want to say it started snowing around 4-ish, 4 or 5 o'clock or something, and it continued snowing. Like it wasn't even supposed to be like this weird this storm. Like it was. They're like, oh, a chance of snow if it cools down. They didn't even think it would snow. And then all of a sudden, like a fucking foot of snow falls, or 2 feet of snow fall, and 2 feet of snow that's extremely heavy because it's so water rich, and all the leaves on the trees just snap all of these tree leaves and what power lines all overnight. And it was like a fucking lightning storm that was going off with all the transformers exploding.
Well, that's the craziest thing. So I got out of work at 5 o'clock. And then the trees and stuff started falling at like 6 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, a girl that I was seeing called me up and wanted me to come to her apartment because she was scared.
I'm scared.
So I got in my car, and it was only a couple blocks away. It was like a war zone out there. It took me like an hour to get to her house because I'm trying to like drive around all these trees and watch out for trees falling down. So I get to her apartment. The power goes out. When I left my apartment, I saw an exploding transformer, which is the craziest thing.
Oh, it's fucking
in the trees.
cool.
Like holy crap.
Cool.
Yep, blew up. So then I got to her apartment. She lived right on the edge of the woods. So all night long, I could hear like boom, right?
Now I know why she was scared.
Yeah, she was definitely scared. So then the next day, I went and picked up my little brother, who I think at the time was probably 13 years old or something. And I'm like, we got to go check this out, right? So we start driving around, and there's downed power lines. It looked like a war zone. There were so many trees falling through the streets. Some streets you couldn't even get down.
You couldn't, yeah. It was like normally you have a 2-lane. You have one going one way and one going the other. You had one lane where you were like going. It looked like you were off-roading trails because the trees were all the trees were down. Power was out to the entire area. Some places were out for a week to 10 days without power. Luckily, I only had 24 hours. It was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Like we were really lucky that it came on so quick.
Yep.
But yeah, it was this crazy thing. And then the crazy thing, because it's October, it doesn't stay cold. It got warm again.
Yeah.
So you got 2 feet of snow that melts a few days later. I think it was like a day or two later, all the snow was already gone.
Yeah.
But what was still remaining was all of these downed trees.
Yeah.
So like no matter where you went, like I remember going to my buddy's house in South Buffalo and trying to go down his street, like you were dodging through all these trees.
That's what
and
I
it was
had
like
to do.
almost impossible to park.
Yep.
And you really couldn't park. It was just insane. So like a lot of people were like chainsawing these trees down. And then there were like actual like people who like in the houses that were there where it happened, but they also had all these like tree cutting services that came in from like 800 miles away, and every tree service person was in town like cutting down trees and like hired by towns and that to cut trees down. And here's the crazy part, which I don't know if you knew this or not, but they were cutting down trees that didn't need to be cut down.
Oh, really?
And they were just so they could claim that they were cutting down trees.
Oh, I see.
So they were scamming.
These scammers everywhere.
That
God damn it.
because there were trees outside, like so.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do
like
that?
outside my house, they put 2 trees in front of the on the street, and those were like the town trees that they planted. So the one tree got a little bit of damage, but not much. When they came through, they beat the shit out of that tree and essentially like made the tree come down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because they wanted the money for it.
Yeah.
And the tree was perfectly fine for the most part. There was a couple of branches that if you would have cut off, then it would have been okay. Yeah. Like I didn't even need to cut it off because it really wasn't that bad. Yeah. But they fucking came and raped that tree and took it down. And
no money.
The second tree that was there had a little bit more damage, but it was still very salvageable, and they did the same thing, and they cut the fucking tree down.
Well, I forgot all about that. So the first thing I thought when I got back to my apartment, I'm like, oh, my little brothers, I got to make sure that they're okay. So the girl I was seeing lived like a couple blocks away from my parents' house. So I went over to my parents' house to make sure my brother was okay. I'll never forget. The power went out while he was in the shower.
Ooh.
And he didn't know any of this shit was going on, right? So he's in the shower,
and it's
the
dark.
Power goes out, but then all of a sudden we live by woods too, and there's trees falling in the woods making these huge explosion noises.
Yeah.
He's 13 years old, so I go over there, I'm like, are you okay? And he goes, have you ever been naked in the dark? You don't know what's going on? I thought we were being bombed. So what the hell is happening?
All you have to do is look outside and realize there's no actual explosions and you're okay. Like it's just the trees falling.
Yeah, it was
fun. But I mean, what was crazy?
If you didn't know.
What was crazy though was like, it looked like a lightning storm because all the fucking transformers blowing off all over the place.
Well, that's the other thing that was weird. When I was looking at those clouds at night, I've never seen orange and green lightning.
Yeah,
in those clouds.
And that's what it
might have been
from, because there was so much. But you got to remember, all the power is fucking coming out and it's going somewhere. Like it's not. I mean, it doesn't just dissipate to nothing. It actually still has a field around it. But then too, like when transformers explode, they actually send out massive amount of like wireless power.
That was crazy. So then the next day, I made it through the night at my girlfriend's house. The next day, I go pick up my little brother. Like, we got to go check this shit out. So we're driving around in my car, and we got to our highway. And I know, because I'm an experienced driver, that I paid attention in driving school, because all of the power was out and all of the
four-way stops.
The four-way stops, right? Yeah. So when you get up to something, you stop at the light.
Yeah.
And then you look, and it goes to the right, has the right of way, right? So we get up to the highway intersection, and the person in front of me just kept going, right? A semi-truck was coming the other way and drilled the side of this person. I'll never forget the look of their head whipping around as their car spun around. But it wasn't like in the movies where the car got destroyed. But this semi-truck T-boned this car right in front of me and my brother. And it went spinning around in a circle. I see this person's heads whipping around. They went over the median and then ended up the other way. And my brother's like, holy shit, you know?
Dude, did you see the truck that made it over the overpass today on Walden?
No.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, if you went down Walden, you know how there's the viaducts that you go under by the Walmart and going towards, like, transit?
Yeah.
So going under there was a fucking truck that was over, and the viaduct is a railroad track.
Yeah.
Like what's over it is a railroad track, and that was over. The truck was like behind it, right there, almost like hanging
Why?
off.
How'd
I
it
have
get
no
there?
idea. I have no idea how that truck got there. It's like that doesn't make any sense. Like you literally had to be like absolutely drunk off your ass
for
to be
sure.
like, oh, I could go up the viaduct and look, I got a big strong truck. Look at, I can go up
driving
here.
down the train track.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was insane. And then, oh, you want to hear a funny story too about like somebody getting hit? So I was at work and I was driving the work van, and at my one job, and where Delaware and West Delavan come together, you know how the road kind of swerves real quick.
Yeah.
So from Lafayette Circle to West Delavan, and then you got the cemetery right across, but you got Hatches and those couple of restaurants right there. Well, so there was this truck, and it was I think it was a like a grease truck. So they had the grease barrels and that behind.
Yeah.
So what they do is they suck out the grease or take the grease barrels and replace them. And
do you mean like one of the bio companies that
Yeah.
like suck the
So it was, but it wasn't the big like round thing. They actually have like the 55-gallon drums.
Yeah, that they put the
that
bodies
they switch out.
Yeah.
So what happened was they were in the left lane. And then there was this woman in the right lane, because it's a 2-lane. And this car, I mean, there was snow on the ground, but it's 2 lanes because, well, you can see that the way the road is. But this truck just came in. She's driving, just turns literally right to try to turn into the restaurant to go change these barrels out of oil, and hits her, sideswipes her into a snowbank. The car just goes up like that, like almost straight up, and then just falls right back down. And I was driving by as this happened. I'm looking to make sure she's okay. She's like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. Like, what happened? And I'm like, I wish I had a dash cam for that, because it was like, I mean, like, I don't know how you couldn't have seen this big freaking car there. But no, it just pulled right in front, hits the fucking car, slams up, and smacks right down on the fucking thing.
That's the craziest shit. Well, that's what I thought. Like the snowstorm, it's a disaster zone anyway. And there's trees down there. And then I see a semi-truck hit a car.
That's the whole thing, though. Nobody understands that it's a 4-way stop.
I did. I thought everyone knew that.
When the power was out recently, that windstorm, the windstorm that that we had, what was that, December, I think it was?
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, the windstorm, when it knocked out, so we had I think it was like 80-mile-an-hour winds or something, and it was just this massive windstorm. So some areas lost power just because, trees knock power lines down. It really wasn't a big deal. It was like 80-mile-an-hour winds, which happens on a rare occasion. Either way, it was really freaking windy. Like Aaron and I went to a Walmart during the storm, and it was funny because I said, "Oh, this would be funny if the ceiling or the roof like flew off and we were like outside even though we were inside." And he's like, he's like, "No, don't say that." And then like a few minutes later, because the wind like picked up a little bit, it just rattled and made this rattling sound like it was going to come off, and it was just this weird, wild thing. But yeah, no, the power was out at a couple of spots, and it was actually on Walden again, right by the mall, which is the Galleria Mall. And you have, so from Union to the mall, you have like 5 lights there. And it's obviously more of a 2-way, but you have the entrance and exit to the mall. You have, you have the gas station right there. You have a couple other things that come in. So it's supposed to be a 4-way stop when the lights are out. And people are just fucking going through. So I always stop. I always make sure. And there's like 3 lights or whatever. So I stop at each one. And people are just blowing the light. Like a bunch of people are blowing. and other people are trying to make it out, and they're just blowing the light and trying to make, and it's just like, how do you not get this?
Yeah.
It's a fucking
You treat it
four-way
like a
stop.
four-way stop.
The light is out. You can clearly see there's no green light, there's no red light, there's no yellow light. That means stop.
Speaking of which, when I die and they play the highlight reel of my life, there's only two things probably going to be on it.
I was just going to say, it's going to be a very short video.
Short, yeah. But there's two things. So I was about 26 or 27 years old, and a friend of mine had a young daughter who was just old enough to walk. And she's in that wobbly phase where you would, can walk and climb on things and move, but still kind of wobbly and fall down. And she had climbed up the swing set, the slide in the backyard of my friend's house. And for some reason, there wasn't the sides on the slide, the side of it that were supposed to be there for stability. I don't know why they weren't there. So you could climb up the platform and get onto the top of it and go down the slide, but on the right and left hand side of it, there wasn't any railings or anything. It was a plastic one. And I was far away, and I saw out of the corner of my eye this girl standing at the top of this slide, and she was watching the kids play in the pool and wasn't paying attention. And she was in that phase. A friend of mine's daughter was in that young phase where they can stand up and walk and climb on things, but are still wobbly and fall down a lot.
So like 18 months or so.
Probably, yep. And she had climbed on top of this slide where for some reason there wasn't like the plastic railings on the slide. And she was standing on the top of it and watching all the other kids play or something. And I was far away, but I just noticed out of the corner of my eye, her like starting to wobble and fall off this thing. So I ran full speed and I did this football player jump, and somehow I cradled. Was
this like a slow motion thing?
In my head it was, yep.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what I did in my head. So I jumped, and I just cradled the back of her head and caught her and like slid. I went sliding through the grass and just caught her. And she would have broken her neck or something, fallen. I mean, babies are made out of rubber at that age, but I was worried. And that was in my highlight reel. That's the one thing they're going to play is me catching her. Like,
don't
fall. Yeah. And I got my hand right behind the back of her head.
God.
Yeah. Yep. Caught her right in time before she knocked her noodle on the ground. That's my one highlight. But the second thing, and I actually have video, was going down Niagara Falls Boulevard.
You're going down Niagara Falls.
Yep. I went over Niagara Falls. It was me. I'm a survivor. You can't kill me.
I'm a survivor. I ain't gonna give up.
Nope. I am a survivor. You just can't seem to kill me. Anyway.
I know it looks like bite.
Yeah. So I was driving down Niagara Falls Boulevard. I saw sparks flying out of the corner of my eye. So I look, and there was a girl. I didn't know it was a girl at the time, but someone had driven their car up and was sliding down one of the guardrails, and all of the sparks were flying out of the bottom of the car. So I was like, holy shit. And it was I think it was probably about 9:30 or 10 at night. So I was like, holy shit. So I turn around, I go and park, I get out of my car, and I had the smart enough sense to get my phone out to start videotaping. And I walk up to the car as the girl's on the guardrail, and there's gasoline just pouring out the bottom of her car.
Line.
Yep. So I get over, and she's up sideways on this thing talking to somebody on the phone going, honey, I need help. I need help. So it's like another person came up too.
Clearly has no idea what's really
what
going
the
on.
fuck. It was still strapped in her seatbelt and sideways in the car, and her car is on the guardrail. Like, holy shit. So I saw the gas, like, you gotta get out of the car. She's like, honey, I need help. Like, you gotta get out of the fucking car. Your car's gonna blow up. Like, so someone else came over. We helped get this girl out of the car and then ran away. And it wasn't like in the movies where the car blew up.
But it could have.
It could have been though. It was, and
especially if she's talking on the phone,
Yep.
that can cause static electricity and have a spontaneous combustion.
No idea she was in danger. And then we're telling her, your car is leaking gasoline. Like, get out.
What? Yeah, but but the thing is,
probably in shock.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the people that are in shock like that, they don't understand really what's going on,
Yeah.
And so you don't necessarily know and comprehend the full thing because your brain transitions to like kind of coasting like everybody else normally does, to literally taking on everything that's going on, but is still blindsided by so much because there's so much information it's trying to absorb that you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then you don't really know, and it like downplays it, and so you just don't know, and it's like this shock type of situation.
You know what? I have video footage of that, so we'll have to remind me.
You gotta get that video
Yeah.
footage.
It's good footage. And those are the only two things I probably have done that'll play in my highlight reel is like help other people.
Yeah, you want to hear another funny Walden story?
Yeah.
Walden's a fucking crazy motherfucking
wasn't there
place.
like something that spilled a bunch of fuel that was leaking off one of the bridges too? Friends of mine live around here, and they were telling me that there was an accident where it was like jet fuel or something that was... Maybe it was just regular fuel, but it was fuel leaking off of one of the bridges that like it was. Huge problem.
I don't remember any detail of that, but no. Here's a funny little Walden story. So I'm leaving the mall and exiting the mall, and the Walden is at this point is split by a median right by the 90 right there, which is the interstate, and. You can't turn, like if you go to the one way, you're going down the wrong way because that's where oncoming traffic is. So here's the best part. So I'm sitting there waiting because there's a no turn on red. And the other side of the street, because that's another street that's coming, has the turn and they have the right of way to go right now. So two people start turning and they turn into the wrong way. So they don't turn where the median, like beyond the median, they turn before the median and start going down. And one person follows the other person. And then the third person's like, you guys are stupid, and go the right way. So what they had to do, the one guy went stopped, like waited, backed up, and then like went out because they didn't make it too far like beyond. And then the first person went so far in that they tried going up on the median, which was like a 6-inch, and this was a car. So if they would have gone up and over, they would have bottomed out with their car and gotten stuck there. And if they would have continued, so they got like a couple, like one wheel up for sure. And then they realized, I can't do that. And then like stopped and like switched and like pulled a quick U-ey to go all the way back. And it was just like, wow, you're a moron.
Where can people go to see videos of poor drivers?
The internet.
YouTube's
got some crazy stuff.
Does YouTube have a channel called Real Rideshare Stories?
Yeah,
where
but
someone
that one
can go and see some horrible driving.
Yeah, but that one wasn't on there.
Yeah.
Because that was actually before I got the dash cam, which it was like 2 weeks before I got the dash cam. I'm like, that was the reason why, that particular reason was the reason why I started doing like bad driving. But to skim through all that, I don't do that anymore because to skim through all that is insane.
Yeah, I bet.
Like, because you literally have to go through all the exterior footage, and you could be out driving for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. To go through all that's impossible.
Oh, for sure.
So I just delete it now.
Yeah, well, you got.
I mean, if there's certain things that I can remember and like the time, then I'd be like, all right, I can grab that, and if like I get something. But yeah, that was such a hassle to do. It's hard.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And then I had another crazy story. I'm trying to think of what it was.
Well, here's my friend. The reason I thought about the crazy story, I was talking to a friend of mine. Actually, I talked about you.
Talk about me. Oh,
I
shit.
sure did.
No wonder my ears were ringing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that was that stupid commercial that I hear on the radio now.
Which
where
one?
I don't know, some hearing loss prevention thing. And then they play this ring, so it sounds like your ears are ringing.
Like,
dude, really?
Sorry.
And it's just so annoying, and I hear it like 4 times a day, and it's like, it's such a bad commercial.
That's a bad commercial. I don't, you know what? We talked about this, about me not being interested in music. Isn't that weird? Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Oh, the music on the radio I'm so repulsed by it.
Really?
Like all the music. Like
I used to love music.
I like music too, but it's like that, like anything that's playing on the radio right now, I'm just so
garbage.
Like, huh? No, I'm just repulsed. Like, even if it was from like music that we grew up with, or like music that's out now, or music that was like anything that's on the radio or mainstream, or I don't know if it's just the music quality is just so shitty.
Oh.
And like your an FM transmission is not the same music quality as like listening to a CD or digital audio or even a record or anything. Mm-hmm. It's shitty audio quality, and I don't know if I just hear the distortion and it just makes me like
no, I get it,
sick.
Yeah.
But when I actually hear like, if I turn on like one of the streaming services and I listen to the music, like one and I think commercials play into it too, but I hear the whole song from start to finish. It's music I like, and it's not mainstream, so you don't hear it all the fucking time. Like if I turn on like the best hits of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and today, you hear the same 18 fucking songs 18 times a day. And it's, I don't know, it's just, and it's every station though. And it's like, they only have a playlist of like 20 songs and they don't have any other, and it's like, oh my God. So it's so repulsive. And I think part of it is to do with the quality of music that's coming through, because it's over an FM transmission. But if you're listening to like streaming service, it's so like the music quality is so much better.
Because I'm an audiophile,
Arguably.
The streaming bothers me too, but it is better than the radio.
Streaming is not the best, but I mean, the music quality is much better.
Well, Neil Young had tried to come out with his own music, like an iPod type thing called the Pogo. And he wanted it to be high quality, lossless audio that was not compressed like an MP3.
Yeah, it's I think it's an FVI file.
There's different formats. Like you can do FLAC, which is full lossless
FLAC,
audio.
That's it. Yeah, that's one that's not. It's lossless.
Yeah, he wanted to come out with his own little iPod thing for lossless audio, but it didn't catch. I think it was too expensive for people. But I wish that thing would have caught on.
It's the one that Jay-Z does.
Oh,
I forget what the. Hold on.
He's got one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll tell you what it is.
I understand the reason for compression back in the day when the internet was 15 kilobytes per second, but we have high speed internet now. There is no reason to compress music to get it out.
At all.
Yeah. So I mean, everything.
Tidal.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's what it is. So it's a subscription-based music podcast and video streaming service, and the formats are AAC, FLAC, ALAC, M4A, and MQA, which those are the lossless files.
Oh, cool.
So
it's
a lot different now than it was. Like actually, it's I mean, there's so many different files, but it's definitely something that you really need
the weird thing is, to me, since there's all this different changes going on in my life and about the way that I view things, is that I don't have the same attachment or emotional reaction to music as I used to. Like, music used to be my life. I loved it. I love listening to music.
Yeah.
I have other hobbies too, but it would strike emotions in me. I do movies too, and now I'm watching things, and I feel like I'm more in reality. Like,
but I mean, it's a transition to a life. Like where you are in your age is different. Like, and that's and I like I said, I don't know what causes. I don't know if it's just that they play this crap so much, and it's just crap music that is overplayed, and they don't. I mean, there's so much music out there.
I know, it's
so much
ridiculous.
music out there,
ridiculous.
And there's only a few songs that get played, and you hear that all of the time, and it's like, I don't want to hear just that. I want to hear like a lot of other stuff. So that's the thing I like about the streaming services. But yes, they have their flaws, but for the most part, it is much better sound quality than FM transmission.
For sure. Yep.
It's you hear the song in its entirety. You hear it as it's supposed to be. It's tuned better, and then also because you're losing out on the FM transmission, so it's not tuned properly to either the car or what you're listening to.
Yeah.
But there's certain, like, actually earlier, I mean, most of it, what I listen to is like other podcasts or YouTube videos I'll watch or whatever it might be. And I was actually kind of like all caught up because I was doing a lot of editing of videos. So I was all caught up on listening to like podcasts and listening to these YouTube videos and stuff. So I threw on some music. And what's nice about that is when you like a song, it'll play more songs like that as well as that song more. And because I didn't listen to that streaming service for a while, what they do is they'll put all the songs you click the like button to in the playlist at the beginning, so you hear all those songs that you like. So all of a sudden, I'm listening to A Perfect Circle, I'm listening to Jack Off Jill, I'm listening to all these songs that I really like, and it just just hits you in a different way. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is like the playlist. I was like, yes, this is great. And it was like, I was so repulsed by music. And I was just telling my girlfriend about that yesterday or today yesterday about that. I'm just like, all the music I'm listening to, I'm so repulsed by. And then I turned that on. I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is the music. Like, this is what I've been missing. Like, and I was even thinking to myself, I'm like, even the music I like, I don't want to hear it because I don't know. Like I said, it was just this audio repulsion that I had. And then I started, like I said, listening, and it's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, that happened to me. And the weird thing is, how it happened to me? Well, first of all, did you ever see the South Park, where the music sounds like shit to them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's all
that
shit.
Was that. Well, it wasn't just music. It was like the I think it was TV shows and like movies and
Eventually,
stuff.
I think everything started.
And it was because
like shit.
And it was because Stan became cynical.
Yeah. But I just remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new podcast is Doo Podcast.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's what I thought of, but I get it, man. The same thing happened to me, but you know what really enlightened me when I had some good music? There is these two things where you can watch someone play the piano, but they have it's like Guitar Hero, where they have the little display on what keys they have the piano.
Yeah, and they're showing you what keys
show the
they're
keys
about
to
play.
push.
Yeah,
I was it was because of you. You sent me the Paris or the train station.
The Paris train station.
Is
video.
That Paris?
It's France, somewhere in France for sure.
Well, they're anyone could look it up. It's there's a guy playing the piano in a train station, and then another random stranger comes and starts playing the piano with him, and it turns out to be amazing. And that was amazing.
And you want to know something that's crazy? I heard I don't know if it was a commercial or something, but I heard that song that they were playing on the piano. So I don't know if that's just an actual real thing, or if that
it is
real song. Okay, do you know the song?
Yes. So I looked it up.
Because I want to know what the song is.
It's in the notes.
Because I don't want to hear the fucking Paris train station.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's like it takes I'll listen to that at night every once in a while before I go to bed. And it's like, I love just getting into that. And it's just it's just so beautiful.
After the lady talks. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then what is it? 7 minutes long or something?
It
like
is.
that?
So people who are going to go listen to it, if you go on YouTube,
2 minutes, it's like 2 minutes into it or something. It goes, dun, 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 attention, I don't speak French, so I don't know. And it just takes away from the music, and it's like, even though it's in the middle of a train station, it's busy, you hear the background noise from people walking by or talking, you still hear the music, and it's absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. But you hear that stupid announcement, and it just ruins the fucking song. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it definitely does ruin it. But because it lasts for like 15, 20 seconds. The rest of
But it's so annoying. But the rest is
the rest
gorgeous.
is beautiful. It's amazing. So I wanted to know what song that was. So I looked in the comments on YouTube.
I should have looked in the comments. I didn't. Good thing I sent that to you.
Yeah, for sure. So I looked in the comments, and it says who is it. It says who it is in the comments, but I went down the rabbit hole looking at the piano. So the second part of it is, I believe, is the Braveheart theme, right? So I started listening to Braveheart on the piano, and then that one is amazing if you watch the Braveheart tutorial, and also The Last Samurai. The Last Samurai
Hold on,
tutorial is amazing.
I gotta turn it down for copyright purposes
Yeah.
because YouTube sucks when it comes to that shit.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. When a piano in a Paris station and two talents come together and they not known happens this. Well, that's because they're French. They are français. The child is added as a hum.
Well, anyway, if you want to listen to some beautiful works of art,
The announcement. Yeah, right here. First comment. The announcement pissed me off so bad.
it definitely ruined-
It's
definitely
so
ruins it.
true.
But after that, it's great. So
What's the song? Tell me.
They have it in the comments if you look far enough. I couldn't find it, but you can find it.
Oh, you bastard.
I know Braveheart. I'm pretty sure Braveheart is one of them. If it's not, it's Dances with Wolves, if I'm remembering wrong. But I looked up The Last Samurai piano tutorial.
Oh, here it is. Song name. Right here. I'm going to take a snapshot of this. Because it's the Ludufio. This is, I don't know what the fuck
that's
that
the
is.
first one, yeah. Ludvigo?
Enuadi. Una Mattina is the name.
Yeah.
And then Braveheart main theme.
It is a Braveheart, yeah. So I looked up the Braveheart, and if you go on YouTube and look up Braveheart piano tutorial, there's a good one of
That's
Braveheart.
when they show that.
Yeah, where they show you how to play it. And then the Last Samurai one is amazing. I'm like, holy shit, the Last Samurai piano tutorial is amazing.
Braveheart piano. Yeah, you're talking about this one, the first one that pops up.
Probably.
Here, hold on. Let me see.
The Last Samurai one is yellow and red.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah. I can hear it, so yeah. Do-do-do-do-do. Copyright infringement.
Not what I'm doing, and I'm humming.
Yep. It's because it's our own rendition. Beautiful.
But yeah, no, that was like insane.
Well, so I had been same thing. I had been sick of music, and every time I heard music, all I hear is shit.
I'm. You know what? I'm actually because I remember we had that conversation, and then I'm like, I was looking up something on YouTube. I think it was I was listening to a streaming service and a piano. I have piano that pops up on there. I have like this whole wide array of stuff, and a piano song came on, and it just got in my memory, and I'm like, dude, I got to send you that. So that's when I sent you it. You're like, holy shit!
Oh, it was beautiful.
That was amazing.
It was amazing.
And I'm like, good. At least I brought you back to some good music.
Yeah, for sure. That thing has like 8 billion views or something too. Those guys are amazing. And so that's what led me down the rabbit hole to find out what that song was. And it is Braveheart. So I looked up that, and Braveheart was good. And then The Last Samurai, I don't know if it's just watching the tutorial of it, because I love music anyway, and watching.
Well, what's nice about that is it's visual.
Yeah.
So it's a visual stimulation, and what's really nice about it is it's this flow.
Yeah.
So you not only are encompassed with the music, but your visual cortex is also being stimulated. So you got to think, your brain uses so much power for just your eyesight, and then you throw ear or music into it, and you're almost fully encompassed. The only thing is you don't. I mean, your sense of touch actually gets shut down. Because you're being so overwhelmed with those two things, so you're actually like getting this crazy amount of music. Now,
For sure.
if you could go into the float tank,
I was going to talk
which
to you
we
about
need
that.
to do.
We're definitely doing it.
and
Here's what I'm going to do.
Hold on. But if we can get into if we can design our own float tank, or if we got our own float tank and then put it like right there, we could put like a TV on top that's connected to the internet and YouTube, and then just play this music, and you're literally laying there watching these fucking piano visual simulations where you're going to start fucking tripping and shit. But the only thing is with that is you're going to see and hear something when the float tanks are designed to be completely
defeating the purpose. But we could
well,
do it both ways.
But the thing is, everything else would be taken away. So everything else would be depleted. So, if you had a bad smell, or if you had a bad taste, or, if it got cold or too warm or whatever it might be, that might distract you from a full 100% of that visualization of the keyboard playing, as well as the actual music going through. That would be much different, though.
Well, so as far as I'm aware so far, I think there might be a total of 3 different float tank places around here. I know that there's one on Robles in Williamsville.
There are, but they're different. They're not the float tanks that we want to go to.
That's what I want to find out.
The one that's on Allen is the one that we want to go to.
Okay.
That's the one that Chaz in southern LA, or in LA or somewhere right there. He's the one who created it.
Okay.
And that's the one that Rogan uses. That's the one that's like
that was my question.
Legit real one.
Because there's one on Sheridan, and I was going to call them and be like,
use like a pod. It's like this pod thing.
Okay,
so
that's not the one we want to go to.
It's not the. Okay. I mean, it'll still do the same thing, but it's not going to be the full experience.
That's what I want. So my concern was I want the water temperature to be the skin water temperature where you feel like you're floating.
They're all going to
the right amount of salt. That. Okay.
They're all going to do the same thing. Okay. It's just that one might let in a little bit light.
No.
One might let in a little bit of sound. No, you want the one that is on Allen. That's the
fucking the shit.
Like it's like the meat locker that you walk into and you're just like,
that's what I want.
Holy shit.
Okay. Good.
And then you start seeing fucking genomes and geometric shapes and shit. Right. You're tripping balls even though you're not on drugs.
Well, that's only if you take the edibles, I thought.
No, that's
I'm going to trip out without taking edibles in that
more than likely.
Holy shit.
Because, it's because the reason is it's because, so for people who don't know what a float tank is, it's about 11 inches of water that's the same temperature as the skin, and it's designed to do that so you feel like you're floating. And there's so much salt. There's like 1,100 pounds of salt or something. It's like a ridiculous amount of salt that's in it. So you just float there. You can't do anything but float. Like, you can't drown. It's like being in the Red Sea or the Dead Sea. You just sit there and float because there's such a high concentration of salt. And it's all filtered and all this good stuff. But in this float tank, they take it even further and better, because it's like extremely insulated. So there's no sound that gets through. It's like this shelter almost. Like, it could probably withstand like a freaking like earthquake or something. Everybody just get in your float tank. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You might not be able to open the door afterwards, but no, this thing has like a ridiculous amount. So what happens is when you're just laying there, your sense of touch goes away because you're laying and you feel like you're floating. And that's one disconnect from the earth from the brain. Like, the brain always is okay, like using the what's the fluid in your ears to sense where you are, in your environment, to know if you're standing, if you're sitting, you're laying, if like different things. So like, if you get up too quickly and you get all lightheaded, that's because the equilibrium isn't correct. But something like this is where it's designed that you're just laying there, so your sense of touch goes away. There's no smell, or because you get accustomed to the smell of anything when you're in a room, so your sense of smell goes away. So you're disconnected from that. You can't see anything; it's pitch black, and mostly everything you see is it takes up a lot of processing power in your brain, so that goes away. So it's just this pitch black, dark nothingness that you're in. There's no sound, so your sound goes away. You don't taste anything because obviously you're just not eating. So you just lay there, and it literally disconnects your brain from your body for the first time that you'll ever experience it. And your brain can focus 100% on whatever it needs to focus on. So it can be very therapeutical, but it also will start making you trip balls, because all of a sudden your brain's like, okay, well, what am I going to? Where am I going? And then you might just start seeing like these shapes or these colors or whatever it is, and you don't even have to take any drugs to get there. Like, you don't even need to smoke weed or eat any edibles or anything fucking crazy. It can just be a very trippy experience in itself, because your brain has nothing to focus on because all of your senses are disconnected.
So the salt water, it makes you buoyant. So be floating in a liquid that is the body temperature liquid and buoyant. That's the whole thing. And I'll be floating there with no stimulus from the outside world, right? And what I was looking forward to was just the relaxation of it, like the feeling of floating. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to, is the being out of the pressure of gravity, the buoyancy of it, and the lack of stimulus.
Not only that, that's what it is. It's the whole lack of any stimulation.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, here's the problem. If I go and do it and I know I'm going to love it, and then I'm going to want one, and those things are so damn expensive, but I know I'm going to want it. And I'm going to call up Chaz and be like, dude, how can I get
$30,000?
How can I get one of those in my
house?
house?
I got $5 on it. You pay the other $25,995.
Oh my God. Let's just start scamming people. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But if anyone wants to send us donations, by all means, you can.
Contact us through therealanythingpodcast@gmail.com.
Not literally. I mean, if you want to donate to us to get better equipment or anything like that.
That's the real thing.
We will obviously, anything that comes through our way in terms of that type of stuff would go directly towards, making it better, a better experience for you.
For you, the viewer, and the listener.
The listener, mostly listener, and yes, the viewer on YouTube. But any of that stuff would go directly to making it better.
Yes, that's what. So, contact us through therealanythingpodcast@gmail.com. We do need lots of different equipment. We're starting. This is a podcast on a budget, and we want to upgrade. So we need lots of things, and we'll be happy to.
We're not really trying to pawn off. We want to give you a really good, time. Well, just a lot of fun.
Here's my thing. I watched Anthony Bourdain. I watched one of his. I don't know if it was his last interview or one of his last recorded interviews, and he was talking about production quality of his show, and I didn't realize, and I should have realized, that he really did hold everything to a really high standard. Like, if he didn't like the way that the episodes came out, I didn't realize that he had been working with a production team for the same people for a long time. I think he said like 13 or 15 years. Mm-hmm. And there were other people were coming and going because it was really strenuous and you really had to do your best work. So he wasn't just going around and like just videotaping himself eating food. Yeah. There was a lot of production quality that went into that.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. And that's what I have a standard that I want to achieve, but our pocketbooks only go so far as we're building our audience and we're building our channels and we're building our vision for what we want to do. Because the podcast is just one aspect of of what we're doing. Yep. I have a YouTube channel, which you've alluded to a few times already, Real Rideshare Stories, which deals with just the rideshare industry and some funny things with parodies and what's going on, news, events, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. And then we're going to be calling scammers. That's why we were actually talking a lot about scamming earlier. We were talking about that. So we're going to call scammers, waste their time, but also share our experiences. So, we need to be able to do things like get phone spoofing capabilities so they don't get our information. It is one of the biggest things. We want to protect our information where we can still show anybody else who wants to watch or listen or see what a scam is and how it unfolds. So if you ever find yourself in that position, you can take charge and be okay and not get scammed, and then help others not get scammed because you'll know and have the education as well too. Yep. And there's so many variations that are out there, and so many things there's so many new ones that come out every month. It's crazy. So we want to take up that challenge, and then you want to do certain things
Yeah, I
like
do.
with the news, and
Yeah.
you want to, and all this
I just
different
love comedy, man.
yeah,
I want to
we
do
want
funny
to bring
things.
we want to bring a lot of good entertainment, whether it be
Yes.
fun, whether
Yeah.
it be enjoyable, whether it be informational. We want to do a lot of different entertainment, and we only have so much we can do because we all have our different avenues of income currently that we need to go on and focus on and all that stuff. And a lot of it, the good thing is, a lot of it's knowledge. And just understanding and being able to use the tools that we have, which we do have quite a bit we're happy with, but we're always looking for better production, better ability, so we can provide better entertainment all around to everybody who takes time to enjoy our entertainment.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of entertainment, this kind of correlates. I read a news article, and I'm kind of disappointed in the news reporting because the article said a man had called the police.
Clickbait.
And
Clickbait.
Well, I try to avoid those, but
Those are the ones you click on. I mean, come
guess.
on. That's the only reason why you click on them, because it's clickbait.
yeah, for sure.
You don't know it's not clickbait until you
course.
click it and
Yeah.
read the fucking article and
Yeah.
realize, wait a minute, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Here's a crazy thing that nobody does, and I don't know why. If you're going to make a clickable news article, why don't you make clickbait that's actually relevant to what the article is actually about?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's ways that you can make it clickbaity that like what the actual article is about.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah, I don't get it. Well, this article said that police had evacuated a neighborhood because of a bomb threat, and that this is why I'm disappointed in the article. Apparently, two dudes got in a fight, and then the one dude had called the police and said the other dude had strapped a bomb to his toilet seat. And it was, what is it, a Lethal Weapon type situation? Did you ever see that movie where he sits down on the toilet and there's a
Lethal
bomb?
Weapon?
Yeah, the Lethal Weapon movie.
Which
I think
one?
it's Lethal Weapon 2 or 3 or 1.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen them all, but I don't know which one you're talking
well, there's
about.
one of them. I think who's the Australian actor guy? What was his name?
Mel Gibson?
Yeah, he sits on the toilet and there's a bomb in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then he can't get up because if he gets up, then the bomb will explode, right? Yeah. Well, apparently, this article said that a neighborhood was evacuated because the guy sat on his toilet, and his other buddy that he was in a fight with called him and said that he strapped a bomb to his toilet seat, and if he got up,
Well, don't we all strap bombs when we take it?
Allegedly.
Number 2.
Yeah. I don't
mean,
poop, so
you
I don't
drop
know.
a bomb all the time.
Well, I was really disappointed because
just
that's
flushes
all
down
the
the
article
toilet.
said. It didn't say whether there was actually a toilet bomb, right?
Well, you could have been. It could have been breaking news, and that was the only information they had. That's the
Yes.
whole thing too.
So that was 2 days ago. So I
So-
checked yesterday, and
and
checked
nothing was
today.
updated.
Well, it said developing story,
Oh,
so I'm going to check again right now.
So there's no development.
Yeah. So I'm going to check again right now to see if they updated the article because I want to find out whether there was actually a toilet bomb.
There wasn't.
But probably not. I can't imagine how you could do that. But people are nuts out there. You never know.
I mean, first of all, why would if the guy would never know?
Yeah.
Because if they're feuding or fighting, he wouldn't be in the house. Like, no, it just wouldn't work. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I was like, how would you know? So what would you do if you sat on your toilet and then all of a sudden there's just like, you see like wires or something. Yeah. Beep or something.
beep.
What would you do if
And then you get up and it's like beep 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 beep.
Yeah,
beep,
that's
beep,
what
beep,
happened.
beep, 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 beep. Oh shit.
Well,
And
I
then-
think in the movie, the bomb did go off. It blew up. Who's the other guy?
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Or no.
Is
it?
Right. Yeah, it's Glover.
Yeah.
Because he goes, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's
he was,
his tagline.
yeah, he was remodeling his house, and I think the other guy sat on the toilet. He couldn't. So he jumped off the toilet, and they like shielded him or something, and the bomb went off, but it blew up Danny Glover's house that he was getting remodeled in the movie. Yeah. What would you do if you sat down? And
I would just be like, dude, first of all, I'd probably blow the fucking bomb off. I'd be like, it's so bad. No, I'm just,
would you try to disconnect the wires like MacGyver style? Like, would you try to
first
that?
first of all, that isn't going to happen. So I'm not even going to contemplate that. I don't need the brain capabilities put towards that. I'm going to put brain capability towards something that's of use to the world.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because there's never going to be that. Sorry.
You're right. Hey, it happened to that guy apparently.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think in that note,
Yeah.
we're going to have to end it there.
I like it.
Bombs on toilets, apparently.
Yeah. Toilet bomb. Go drop some bombs.
Go drop a couple of bombs.
Yeah.
Number two, go drop 2 bombs just in case.
Yep.
Bloop, bloop. Do you have a quote for us, Mr. Aaron?
I'm looking for one right now. So
You don't have one?
Well, I had one on deck, but I can't find where it was. I gotta get better.
Fail.
It was a fail. So you should just talk for 5 minutes until I find
The
one.
failure of men.
Mm-hmm. Happens all the time.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to actually have to listen to those 2 songs later. Boy George.
I listened to the Braveheart piano,
Yes.
and if you watch the Last Samurai one, it's the one that's red.
Yeah,
and
I
yellow.
don't-
I
I
don't know
mean-
if there's any different ones.
I'm gonna piece together those 2 songs so I can get the Paris train station without
the La de Vigo, whatever.
without
yeah.
having to hear the fucking announcement.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. The piano is good, and actually, the Game of Thrones piano is pretty good too.
Yeah, those are the 2 that I'm looking for. I don't need the other stuff right now.
Yeah, well,
I'll pay attention to that later.
check
but
out
right
the
now-
Last Samurai one. That one was amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Holy
do
shit.
that right now. I'm going to wait until I get those other 2 pieced together and make it sound like the train station without the announcement.
All right.
And then all the background noise.
All
It's
right.
going to sound like piano, and I'm going to be like, and I'm going to put it in this room that's all speakers, and I'm just going to lay in the center of it in a float tank, and I'm just going to be like,
Yeah. What if you have a bad experience while that's happening, and
In
then
the
all
float
this,
tank?
yeah, and then all of a
No.
sudden,
it's not going to.
what if it did? And then all of a sudden,
not
now
gonna.
you can never listen to that song. It's like a Clockwork Orange, wherever you hear
It's
Ludwig
not
van
going to.
Beethoven.
I'm not going to have a bad experience there. I already know.
It's the Ludvigo technique. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
I think you said this one already. We need a new one.
Check out a different one then.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're going to get.
That's not what it was. But a friend is one that knows you as you are, understands where you have been, accepts what you have become, and still gently allows you to grow.
Yep, that would be a friend. Would be. All right, with that being said, that has been another episode of the Anything Podcast with...
I was Aaron.
You were.
I
and
did a
Chris.
great impression of myself.
I'm good. And I kept my voice going the same pretty well, but I think I'm going to get back to my actual voice now because, well, I gotta. So everybody have a good night, good day, whatever it is time you're listening to.